Hello everyone, I'm Captain Logan, and joining me as always is my sidekick Austin. Tonight we're going into our second part for our 50 least favorite superhero movies of all time list. We're going to try to do at least 10 more for you tonight. Might take a couple hours, but thanks for joining us. We're hoping to get to one more superhero movie for the commentary project this month before the year is out. We were supposed to do Sherlock Holmes this week, and I got real busy, and I didn't really have time to get all of it in, so I wanted to prioritize this, and we'll see how much more of this list we can do before the month is up. But we should have Robert Downey's Sherlock Holmes. Yes, it's a superhero movie. We're not going to keep explaining it. Just watch it. It's a superhero movie, and we're excited to do that for you next week. We'll see if we can get some more of this in that week also. And I know this is dating this whole thing, but quick plug to oh, I'm sorry, not next week, the week after, because next week, Austin and I are finally, if everything goes according to plan, going to get to the 5th season of The Simpsons for our Simpsons discussion series, because it's been somehow 2 years since the last one, and we've just been awful at keeping up with that series. In 5 years, we've done 5 seasons, one for every year. We didn't even start the first year. We were doing this with that show, I don't think, but anyway, so apologies for how long it's been since we did the last one of those, and hopefully people are interested in that. That's, of course, not a superhero thing. That's its own kind of side series, but we wanted to finally get to another one of those. So I may have to scale back streams next week to get all of that season watched, but that's the big priority for next week is Simpsons Season 5, and then we'll see if we can do a little bit of a better job after that and do at least one next year. If not a couple, that'd be really good. It's Austin's favorite thing. I want to make sure we do at least the big classic seasons.
Yeah, for sure. Also, I wanted to mention, too, I forget who it was last time we did one of these, but they asked for us to do a top 100 movies that aren't superhero, and I think that would be a good idea for another list if we did one.
Yeah, I saw that, too, Austin. That is a tough, almost arbitrary thing for me, because like I'm not against doing it. I gotta really noodle it. Because the first thing I thought was, well, I've done a top 10 and a top 20 before. I don't really know how much interest there's going to be in that. And then it's like, well, but then you have all of Austin's. We probably won't have a lot of cross-pollination. Those are probably two really different lists, and so that would be interesting. And it'll be interesting to see if we do it, if any of our stuff crosses. But also, I just know that there are things I've seen that I love that I've never thought to go back to that should be on that list, and that will haunt me when we do it. Like stuff we've done for Request that I was just really high on and were like real special movies to me, but I'm busy and I watch things for work and then I put them on a shelf and don't think about them again. And it's like if I had more time and I didn't have a bunch of kids, I'd be going back to these movies and watching them, and then they would wind up on that list. So that will drive me crazy when we do that. If that happens, you get these Hall of Fame movies that I've just never thought about again.
Like that one about the girl in the basement that where she gets like abused. That was a good one.
I will say that's one that stuck with me more than a lot of the others, but not for the right reasons.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of things haunting you,
yes,
that movie haunts me. I probably think about that movie once a week.
Wow. Yeah, I think about it every now and then.
Like,
one day I was driving on the highway and I thought of it, and I was like, that's random.
I'll go this far. That movie hurt my feelings on a level where I didn't know if I wanted to do Request anymore.
Mm.
Like, it
Ooh.
bothered me. What was that called? I can't even remember. It was a
It
TV
was
movie
called The
about
Girl Next Door because I
Is
thought it
that what it was?
was the 2000s comedy.
Far from it.
No.
No, that was a movie that was loosely based on a true story about a girl that was, like Austin said, abused and tied up in a basement in the 50s, 60s.
Yeah, something like that. But anyways, speaking of being tied up, forced to watch awful things.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not
Let's
what that
go on
movie's
to
about,
some
but you know what I mean.
different kinds of trash if you'll agree with our lists of bad movies. Austin informs me that we're about to get to some controversial things on his list, so I'm
Yeah,
excited.
this is like the worst 10 stretch that I have.
I'm excited to see how many viewers we lose in real time over Austin's list.
Exactly. When Daniverse says stop stalling, so Cap, what is your what would it be? 40?
We should be at 40, yeah.
Yeah.
Daniverse, you should know by now that I like to talk for at least 12 minutes before we actually get into the topic.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'll be nice this time just for you and get right into it. Actually, I'm going to be obnoxious and not quite get right into it because I want to remind everybody. No, we have to do this at the start of the stream. You can click on the link in the description for a Google form that will let you fill out your least favorite 50 movies, because we'll go through that list when we get a communal list after we're finished with this sometime early next year now. And hopefully lots of people fill that out. We've gotten really good responses in the past, both. And we should be back. Let us know in the comments if you're watching live right now, if you can see and hear us. And apologies, everybody, for the weird technical difficulties we're suddenly having. If you're not watching live,
I blame Daniverse for telling us to stop stalling.
Yeah, because it happened.
The universe was like, no, we're stalling.
Yeah, that's great. Immediately, after I went, and my first entry is number 40 is this. And then what's funny is at least some of the audience heard what the reveal was, and you didn't.
No.
Froze up completely on you. Yeah, hilarious. Hopefully this works out. We'll call it if that keeps happening and table this for later, but hopefully it works out. So we're not going to go back to preamble and everything. We're just going to jump right into our list. Austin, my first entry for this evening, number 40, is Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Back to my frozen angry face.
Angry face.
Ooh.
Well, and when I said it the first time, I didn't realize that the stream was shutting down on us and that we were losing Discord. So you were still moving normally for a minute, and I didn't realize that you couldn't hear me. So I was waiting for a response. It was almost like you thought that was a weird choice. Amazing Spider-Man 2. How's that on your bottom 50? I'm like, I
want to think you talked about it for 10 minutes before realizing it was frozen.
No, that did not happen, luckily. No, the real question is, how did that wind up on the Geekvolution community's top 100? That's what I want to know.
Well, just foreshadowing, we've got 7 votes so far for the communal worst, and
not one.
It's going to be a real doozy.
Oh no!
So, yeah, but
you guys get your votes
why
in.
is amazing?
We gotta do better than
2?
We gotta do better than 7. Well. And it's funny because Daniver says that's only a controversial pick on here. Yes, exactly. So when Amazing 2 came out, I was perplexed and bewildered about it before I was angry with it. I just thought it was really bizarre. Some of the pacing and just like character choices and the really goofy like new background stuff with Peter's parents and the characterization of Electro and all of that. But like I didn't hate it, and I still don't full on hate it. I just have liked it a lot less every time I've seen it. And it's like it's definitely worse on repeat viewings, and I think that third act is much worse than I did when I first saw it. I and so then the question ends up being like, how salvageable of a world was that? Like more and more, I've kind of come to understand why it would have been a hard sell maybe to finish that trilogy. I don't know how you feel about that. But it's
Well,
like
I don't like the first one either.
well,
So
that's
it's like
that's true. Yeah.
yeah.
And I do like that movie. Now it's got big issues. Like
Mhm.
I don't love it. I've talked about this before. I like the way the origin is handled in that movie quite a bit, as far as why Peter decides to be Spider-Man and continue being Spider-Man. Like all of that really works for me. The way he almost, and I think it made my top 100, so I've talked about this already. But like the way he almost becomes like a dark vigilante and could have almost been like one of his own villains. And then that scene on the bridge with the kid always really gets me. And like I feel like that movie does almost a better job of selling his initial like coming to the responsibility message. Without just having to have his uncle come right out and say that, better than Raimi does it. But it's built on a series of obnoxious plot conveniences. And so but it's got a good relationship. And then I think some of that stuff breaks down in the second one, but again, not as badly as some other people feel like it does. It's just, for me, it's really overwritten.
Mhm.
And it's so
Yeah.
uneven in tone. It's one of the most tonally uneven things I've maybe ever seen, which is why it still has to make my list, I guess. And because I don't know, like, at first it sucked to me that we didn't get one more movie and finally get to the Sinister Six of it all. But part of the reason it makes my list, Austin, is as time has gone on, I have not missed it. Like, I've not found myself. It's not like Hellboy, where like I would have really liked that third movie, ran out that trilogy finally. I've not had that with Amazing, and it's not even because he shows up in No Way Home, so you at least get to see him again. Like I don't have that with it.
And it's not even because of the whole magic blood or the cure for death thing or whatever they were going to do. Just in general.
Right. Well, and you can see the Roberto Orsi in it.
Yes.
Or is it?
Yes.
Or is it both of them? Is it Orsi Kurtzman together?
It's both
or
of
was that
them.
just an Orsi thing?
I
I can't
think
remember now.
that might have been the last movie they did together. I'm trying
Yeah.
to think. It's at the very least one of the last, if not the last.
I knew at least one of them worked on it because it's got that stupid 1701 plate to remind you that they wrote not great Star Trek.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a really conspicuous police car that's got a license plate that's 1701, and I'm like, stop it.
Oh no. My number 40 is Spawn, which I can't remember
Wow.
if you've said already.
I have not said that yet.
Okay.
I say yeah. I'll
yes.
just tell you right now, it didn't make my list.
It's not on your list. Okay.
Uh-uh.
Well, Spawn
I definitely
wouldn't have made.
I definitely thought about it. I have a you know me, I've got such a weird relationship with that whole property that the fact that reading through the series up to a point when I was doing Spawn Year and then doing that movie, and that movie watched a lot better during that. It does it now. Like going back to it now, it was always bad, but like it's really bad again. But the fact that I had that experience with it, it made it difficult to put it on this list. I have the Arrow
Yeah.
set sitting right on my desk, actually. Thanks, Connor Nielsen.
You're like, I got this for my birthday. It's not on my top 50 worst, I promise.
Well, not Christmas, but yeah.
Christmas.
By
My
the way, I
bad.
showed the sets that Connor got me for Christmas on the comic show this week on Comic Late Night. So anybody that hasn't seen that, that's where I talk about this, and then the really great Arrow mask set. And I did kind of unboxings for those, not unboxings, but I pulled these apart and showed them off. Anyway, but why is Spawn on your list? I mean, fair enough. It's that third act, right?
No, Spawn. So Spawn wouldn't have made my list if not for having done it on Rewind. Because I had fond enough memories of watching it when I was younger. Every now and then it comes up when my dad and I are talking, and we go like, "Oh yeah, the Spawn movie. Like that's a pretty good movie." Rewatching it for the Rewind really hurt. It was like, "Oh, this is boring." And it was easily the worst viewing I've ever had of it. And not even from you, the Spawn fan, being like, "Oh, look at all these things wrong with it."
Yeah.
It was a hard movie to go back to. So it had to make my list for that.
I definitely considered it, but ultimately I couldn't bring myself to do it. Now, if we did 100, it would definitely be in my top 100. I don't know if it would be in like the 60s or the 70s, like if it would even be that high. But plausibly, like likely, it's so massively compromised, that movie. Like forget some of the issues and just how it was formulated in the first place. Just the way they're hobbling together like shots that weren't even meant to be the action bits that they edited together in the places they are at the end. It's so awkward and hard to look at. And then the Jessica Priest thing is really really lame, that like we kill her and she's supposed to come back in the third act as another Spawn, and they don't do that, but you can tell the way she's wheeled off that that's intended to do something. The way Cagliostro is handled is kind of lame. Effects are rough.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's a movie with a lot of like an absence of good.
Well, yeah, because it's about evil.
Exactly.
I still think that suit is okay. The cape doesn't hold up. Unfortunately, we both were like, ooh, that's kind of rough to look at now. I remember that being one of the cool things about it when I was a kid, so that was kind of a shame. I still really like what Violator looks like. That whole thing worked out shockingly well, but it kind of felt like all the money went there.
Yeah, for sure. What is your number 39?
Sorry, I didn't expect that to come up.
That's okay.
Yet, or at all necessarily, and so I've been thinking about that movie lately because I got that Arrow set and I sampled the new transfer, and it does look really good. I mean, as good as that movie is going to look, but
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it's a nice release.
Yeah, it's cool crazy gift. It got that treatment. It's like, that's not a well-remembered movie. Like, a lot of people look back on that and go, that was cheesy and bad, and want something that's, obviously more authentic to the source material, or at least how we remember the source material.
I mean, there's crazier 4Ks where you go, I can't believe this got a 4K.
Well, yeah, but it's not even that it's put on 4K, because 4K now is kind of like the new format where it's like everybody wants everything on 4K. And so I'm not really that shocked when things get a 4K. I'm more surprised when they get that like boutique release from a house that always puts like extra special features and does a nice new transfer. Because just because it's on 4K doesn't mean it gets a new remaster necessarily. I don't think. I don't know if that's true. I'm not really sure how 4K works. I don't know.
I'm not sure, yeah. But
I shouldn't say that. I don't actually know that.
Yeah, no, for sure. But yeah, what is your number 30?
But they'll always get like posters and sometimes like postcards and things, like booklets with background information. It's weird to see Spawn get that treatment. And the other reason it was exciting to get that is because it's got both the theatrical and the director's cut. And I don't know that the theatrical version was ever put on a disc before this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's cool.
I just wanted to mention that for anybody that doesn't know about it. If you happen to be a collector like I am, where you want all the cuts of things. But anyway, you just had to bring that up. Now I'm making the video take longer. Austin, my 30...
I keep trying to move us on.
No, I know, I appreciate it. My 39 is well, see, the thing is, it's a bad movie list, so you bring up something I feel like talking about. And then, like, I want to stall us out so we don't have to talk about these other things I don't want to talk about. My 39 is a movie that I kind of feel like could maybe have been higher, especially considering how rough of a viewing you and I had on it when we did it for the commentary project. Because I already didn't like this movie, and oh god, was it a friggin' chore when, not too long ago, you and I did it. My 39 is Superman Returns.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I'm curious to see how high it is on yours, because I'll be shocked if it's not there. The viewing we had of that. Oh my god, is it not?
No, it's going to be up
pretty high, yeah.
No, there's no way that the Spawn movie made my list and Superman Returns was safe from it.
We've said everything there is to say about that movie, and I have multiple times, but just to quickly recap, of course, far too derivative of the Donner movies, way too much dialogue, just straight up lifted from those. It's a love letter before it's its own movie, and it's awkward because it can't decide if it's its own thing or if it's still in that continuity, so it has a Lex Luthor that wants to be both comic book Lex Luthor and the movie Lex Luthor, from those movies. It's got a villain plot that just doesn't make any friggin' sense at all. The way they handled the land thing again, but with a big kryptonite rock, and it's boring, and it's so overly long.
That's the biggest crime, is that movie's so boring and like really poisons Superman's image for being boring.
That's true too.
Like, I think I mentioned that when we did the rewind, but I saw somebody recently say that both the last two takes on Superman are like really heavily looking at Superman Returns and responses to that, and I think there's truth to be said about that.
You think just as far as its reputation, like the damage it did to the character, that Superman Returns is kind of in that Batman and Robin spot?
Yeah, I would say so. Maybe not.
We worked really hard to come back from Batman and Robin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe not to the same degree as, at least for to the public. But I would say probably behind the scenes, there's probably always that voice of like, Superman Returns. Whether it's an exec or whoever.
Yeah, I think that's totally valid. And no offense to Brandon Routh fans, and I have liked him in things, but he's horribly miscast in that.
I mean, it could just be a case of he wasn't ready for it too. But
we did talk about that.
Yeah.
But even if that's the case, that's enough for me to call him miscast. Like he's way too young. We had that with Bosworth. Where it's like, how do you see? It's just all coming back to me as we're talking about this. Where it's like, how do you make a movie that's a like decades later sequel type, kind of a reunion sort of thing in its way, and it's about a Superman that's been around for a long time and has to leave and come back, but he's younger when he comes back than he was when he left. So strange. Nearly every choice with that movie is counterintuitive. Not to mention the fact, of course, and this is maybe, I didn't even mention this, but this is maybe my biggest thing, where it just becomes an offensive watch, that Superman just looks like a complete stalker in that movie. And I just don't like, however you feel about this in your own life and whatever your own morality is, I don't like Superman having a kid out of wedlock. It doesn't work with his upbringing. And
Well,
with the way that
it should have had the
character was
tagline. It should have had the tagline, "It's a bird, it's a plane, it's about an hour too long."
Yeah, absolutely. And some of the effects were rough then. It's really hard to look at now.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll never forgive it for that Gumby shot at the end.
Yeah.
It's like, you're going to put your main actor right in the lens and it's not even him. It's this horrible CG. Anyway, what's your 39?
My number 39 is The Mask.
What?
I'm just messing with you. I did not pick your two Christmas gifts side by side.
Why would you do that to me, Austin? No, and I know you're not a Jim Carrey guy and you're not a big fan of The Mask. And when we get to that,
I don't have anything against The Mask. I haven't seen it in years. Like,
okay.
I don't know.
I assumed,
but, yeah.
and I'm sorry, I don't mean to assume things about you, Austin.
That's okay.
It's always seemed like a thing that you were either just completely what's the word, like neutral on, or that you just didn't care for because of Jim Carrey. But I always assumed we would have to just sort of agree to disagree on that one when we got to it on the commentary project, because I've always been real high on that movie. And some of it is, I loved it as a kid, of course, and it's still fun to go back to and holds up in a lot of the ways that, you know, I liked it from them. And some of it is, when I wrote about it, I liked the story a lot more. Where, like, it spoke to me thematically. So anyway.
Well, and Chuck Russell's a great director. No, I mean, the thing about Jim Carrey is that he's often been fan cast as Carnage. My number 39 is Venom, Let There Be Carnage.
Oh, hell yes, man. It's not high enough by any stretch, but I'm glad it's there. And I'm glad that it's not in your bottom 10, because F that movie.
You hate that movie more than I do.
It's going to be hard for me not to swear the further along we get, so I'm going to cheat a few times and just put letters in, but F that movie sideways all the way from Sunday.
My thing with Venom 2 is I think it's slightly better than the first one, in that I don't find it as boring as the first movie.
Sorry, I'm cringing over here. I can't even handle that statement.
No, that's fine. That's fine. It's definitely cringier than the first movie because they're leaning into, you know, that stuff from the first movie. But I don't find it as boring. Like, I have an easier time sitting through Venom 2 than I do the first movie. And on top of that, I don't really care about Carnage, so, like, I don't really care that they messed his character up and whatnot. It just doesn't really hit as hard for me.
Yeah. And I had wanted that character forever.
Yeah. No, and Woody Harrelson's great casting for it. Like, he could have been an amazing Carnage. And he's the type of person that I think is good casting for it, and casting you wouldn't expect at the same time. Like, I remember when they announced that, I was like, oh, that's weird. Oh, but I can also picture it. You know what I mean? But overall, that movie's just kind of annoying. It also barely has anything going on.
Yeah. No, I saw that, and I want to say I would have had this even if it wasn't for for me, the offensive nature of just not even getting that character. They already don't get what Venom is as an idea, and then they come in and they misread Carnage even further, and it feels like they're just intentionally screwing with those of us that are big fans of that stuff. But beyond that, I want to think that I would have seen that movie as anti-entertainment, even if it weren't for that stuff.
Mm-hmm. I mean, maybe. It's also a shame. I don't know if you've seen the concept art for that movie, but like, there's all the like Carnage priest stuff for the third act when they're in the church that looks crazy and amazing in concept art, and none of that's in the movie.
I want to say all three of those movies have that, where somebody had some kind of imaginative, at least visual ideas that just never make it to screen.
Yeah, I mean, probably.
It's also so awkward who directed that movie.
Yeah, Andy Serkis. I mean, it could be worse. It could be me saying, God, why did he make Venom 2? Just let this man make his Animal Farm movie already. And then that project has morphed into what it is. But
yeah,
anyways. That one really breaks my heart.
It makes me think we're never going to get a good Andy Serkis directed movie. Austin.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's happening with that stuff. I don't know if it turns out that this is a man that does not have good creative visions, or if the stuff that he's wanting to make ends up getting massively ruined and compromised and taken out of his hands. I don't know. Like, I don't want to throw shade at Andy Serkis, but like, and that movie's not out yet.
I can't blame him for this one, but Animal Farm, I have no idea. But that movie goes the production of that movie goes all the way back to Rise of the Planet of the Apes. So like that one's been in development hell for a long time.
So who knows? I think it hurt you too personally, Cap. The movie is bloody hilarious. Comedy is subjective, and movies that you can't tell if they're intentionally bad sometimes or not are especially subjective. And I only saw that movie the one time because I hated it so viscerally. I've not gone back to. I've intentionally stayed away from the thing until the day where I obligatorily have to do it on the commentary project. And so I can only speak to the one viewing I had with it.
But beyond the funny bad thing, no, I can kind of see that, and it's again part of why it's a little bit better than the first movie for me. The stuff that people find funny in the first one is the stuff that they leaned into for 2. So like that's why I kind of get it, even though I don't like it. Like I find it more annoying.
But that's what
I'm seeing. I get that.
That's part of why I'm saying that whole thing is subjective, because I personally do have a little bit of that. That first movie is ironically kind of fun, at least in places. It doesn't hold through the whole thing, which is frustrating. Because there are whole swaths of that movie that I'm not really enjoying on any level. But I have, at least to some degree, that I don't know if I want to say so bad it's good, but kind of thing that you do with something like a Madam Web or Howard the Duck or something, and it didn't translate for me to that second movie at all. And I don't know if it's just because I'm taking it too seriously because of Carnage. I don't think that's all it is though. I actually think the way they lean into it is part of the problem, or like they know it now. That was the feeling I had with it, where it becomes like a Sharknado kind of issue, where it's like now they're doing it on purpose. And the first movie, I don't know that it was exactly on purpose. I mean, like there's a comedic side to that movie that's undebatable.
Yeah.
And yet I don't think what they think they made is what came out. And there was some fun to be had with that aspect of it to me, and also just the fact that Tom Hardy is a baffling actor sometimes. Like I don't know what
all the time for me.
I don't know what he's doing in that movie, and that whole some of that's really funny to me. And you get to that second movie, and I don't even know how to describe the experience I had with that. Like it was painful from start to finish.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is painful from start to finish. I've never seen the third one. I don't want to.
It's probably worse. Like it probably technically is worse. And I will say I didn't fall asleep watching 2, and I did 3.
No, it sounds like 3 went back to 1 and just being nothing and boring. But what is your number 39 or 38?
I gotta say, in some ways, this is not as much fun as I was hoping it would be, because I'm having PTSD. Like I'm being,
now you're just pissed.
I'm being taken back to the places where I'm like, oh, these, because we're getting into the movies that while you're sitting there make you go, why have I wasted my life on this?
Yeah, well, don't worry. My next one you're going to be pissed about, so...
Okay,
that's only going to get worse.
That's fine. I don't know if I'm going to have anything that's going to hurt your feelings. Oh, I have at least one. I will say that. We're not going to get to it tonight, but I have at least one. So look forward to that. My 38 should maybe be flipped with my 39, because I think I actually technically... This gets complicated for me, where it's like, Superman Returns, I think, offends me more, and I dislike more than this movie, but I think this movie might technically be worse. I don't know. I may have to say strike this and reverse this, retroactively, but my 38, as I listed it, is Blade Trinity.
Oh, okay.
And that's one of those places where I'm just having to go on memory, because I haven't seen it in a long time. But I did write about that, and that's a movie directed by a kind of non-director in Goyer, and it's kind of infamously not liked. And so it's one of those almost, to be fair, like I will admit to this, it's one of those almost obligatory picks on my part, where it's like, we all know Blade Trinity is bad. It's got to feature somewhere, and I'm not. I'm obviously not doing that with everything that people are expecting me to put there, but like it is that bad. I don't really know how to not put it somewhere. In comparison to the rest of it, like you kind of have to look at it with the rest of the franchise, and 1 and 2, it also hurts more when they're getting progressively better before that. And I mean, that's one of the big reasons I feel like I have to put it somewhere, where it's like Blade 1 is good, Blade 2 is even better, and then Blade Trinity, they're just not even trying. And it's not even in the same ilk. It's not even the same kind of movie in a lot of ways. Like it's brighter and crasser at the same time, and not crass in a fun way. And the only good thing, if you even like the whole Ryan Reynolds Deadpool thing that it gave the world, is Ryan Reynolds kind of doing Deadpool and then falling in love with that character. And some people don't even, obviously like him and kind of wish that had never happened. But like, that's the only ostensibly positive thing that it did for the world, because he's essentially playing that character, and then Ryan Reynolds famously learns about Deadpool on the set of that movie, I think.
And it should have happened again with Natasha Lyonne, who's basically playing Alicia Masters in that movie, and then is not playing Alicia Masters, but
I never had that thought.
Ben Grimm girlfriend in First Steps. It's really weird.
Interesting.
But I mean, Blade Trinity's not very good. It didn't make my list. It probably would have if we had gone like 10 or so more.
Yeah.
So it's like just outside of that. Blade Trinity will always stick with me for giving me the biggest confusion as a child. When Ryan Reynolds says that the main vampire chick has teeth in her vagina instead of her mouth, and I was like, but she clearly has teeth in her mouth. What do you mean? Because I thought it was literal. I was like, does she have 2 sets? Like, is there another set down there?
What?
It confused the hell out of me as a kid. And I took that as literal. I was like, what's going on?
RJ Godzilla, you're just going to have to be more patient, man. He's just screaming, where's Birds of Prey? And just the idea that the audacity that you would expect that at 38 or 39.
Yeah, no, that's common.
Did you see the blind commentary we did during DCU Mania, or DCEU Mania, I should say? Don't worry, sir. I don't want to give too much away, but
it's your number one.
If Birds of Prey didn't show up on my list, I think there is I think 20% of our viewers should unsubscribe if Birds of Prey doesn't show up on my list. I'll go that far. I mean, that discredits me to a preposterous degree.
Well, the worst thing about Birds of Prey is that it has its teeth in its vagina, but that we'll get there eventually.
See, look, there are statements you make sometimes that no one can argue with. It wouldn't matter if you liked or didn't like that movie. That's simply accurate.
Yeah, it's just the truth.
It just does. It's not a thing I'm going to say out loud, but yes. It's true. Anyway, yeah, Blade Trinity. I think it probably should be a little lower. Although I will say,
fair enough.
I do think it's worse than Amazing Spider-Man 2. Most people wouldn't agree with that, but
I mean, there's arguments to be made for it. Like, I could see it either way. Yeah.
All right.
No, and you have a lead that's, asleep at the wheel. It's also a movie where it's like an episode of TV that's a backdoor pilot.
Oh, that's true.
So you also have that.
Yeah, it's hard to speak
too
much right now, because that's a movie that I've never gone back to since I did an old scripted rewind on it. We've never done a commentary on it, I don't think.
Besides Marvel Mania, yeah.
Oh, true, yeah. But that's
But
blind, and I'm
no,
done
that's part
talking
of why
over it.
Snipes is so pissed in that movie. Yeah, exactly.
Because
no, that's part of why Snipes
because
is
he's
so
taking a
pissed
back
off.
seat.
Exactly, yeah. Is that it's a backdoor pilot? He's like, what the hell is this? Like, why is my third movie like their movie?
Well, and that's one of those crazy things that nobody could have ever predicted, where the Deadpool franchise doesn't happen probably, or I can't even say probably, it doesn't happen without that movie, and then Snipes comes back as that character again in Deadpool 3. Like, it's just a history that you could never possibly predict.
Yeah, no, I mean, I thought he was, completely off the table because of Blade Trinity, and now Snipes hated everyone on that set.
Well, that too, but I'm just saying also the irony of that movie giving Ryan Reynolds to the world as a superhero. Like, it's so odd that happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
It's all very unlikely.
Mine. Yeah, no, very true.
We did a whole stream about this.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was on my list when we did that. But you remember we did a stream, or maybe a couple of streams, where we went back and forth and we talked about like unlikely events in superhero movie history.
It might have been. I don't remember.
It's all a blur. Was that this year or last year that we did that?
Ooh.
I can't remember.
I can't remember. It's either early this year or last year. I don't remember which. It's all a blur.
We've done a lot of these list things.
Yeah, exactly. My number 38, which is gonna break your heart, it's the Powerpuff Girls movie.
That's all right. I understand that. Now I will say, I don't know that you would have had that were you familiar at all with the material. But it's hard to say.
Yeah, it's hard to say. Yeah, it's hard to say. No, that was just a hard one for me to get through. Both because I found it really annoying, and then at the same time I was like, oh man, I feel bad. Cap's gonna be so excited to talk about this. And this just isn't my jam.
I like how it's partly on your list just because just because you had a not fun experience because you had to talk with someone that likes it.
Well, it's on my list more so for watching the movie, but like that was part of my displeasure going into the rewind, was just like, oh man, like I feel bad. Like, you're gonna want to talk about all the stuff you love about it, and I'm just gonna be like, and this is why this part's annoying, and this part's annoying, and this joke goes on too long, and yada yada yada. But anyways,
I also think it's curious, it's odd, because as an origin thing, I kind of don't think that movie stands by itself. Like, I really don't know that anybody should be introduced to it through that movie. And it should also be noted that a lot of the fans didn't like it. Like, I'm a little on an island with that movie. As I've always said, that speaks to me real hard, like, thematically, and what it's saying about bad parenting and the education system and stuff like that. I also always really loved the step up in animation, and there's just a lot of that stuff that you're not gonna appreciate if you've never watched that show.
Yeah, for sure. And it's hard to say. Like, I don't know if I could go back to that show and be a fan, or like, not. I'm not sure.
The fact that you didn't enjoy that movie to the degree you did makes me think that a lot of that show probably just wouldn't be for you too. Like, it's to be fair, like, some of it is probably just comedic sensibilities and like comedic timing and that kind of stuff. It might have also for me been a time and place thing. Like, it's hard to say if I like that as much if I'm first introduced to it now. I have no idea. And it was and I guess I'm sounding a little bit apologetic with it, but I'm trying to throw you a little bit of rope to say,
no, you don't have to be. You can be like, you're an asshole and you
hate
this movie that you love.
You're not, though, because I'm a little bit sympathetic to your feelings about a thing like this, because there's stuff that I wish I had been there for, either in age or just paid attention to when it came out, right? That I would probably be a fan of had I been around for it, and I think Powerpuff Girls might be in that in that category like Power Rangers, where like it's hard to decades later give a middle-aged adult these things and expect them to appreciate them. Like, I mean, it's really hard to do. There's no way I would be a Ranger fan if I was first introduced to it at 41 years. There's no chance. I'd be like, I don't understand this. I had to be there when it was on.
Well, I will say, we will get to have the reverse of this when we get to the second SpongeBob movie, which I'm sure is not a great place to start. I've never seen it. The first one's great, but I've heard mixed things about too. But I'm sure it will be the exact reverse, except I maybe also won't like it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Because, yeah, the SpongeBob thing I've never understood. Like, I've never sat through a whole episode of that, and it looks, like you said with Powerpuff Girls, just irritating. So there's something to that.
Yeah.
You know? And I gotta say, for me, Powerpuff Girls was an acquired taste in the first place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Like, I saw the first cartoon short and was kind of like curious about it, and I thought the animation style was kind of interesting and striking, but I didn't immediately get it. Like, I didn't love the humor and stuff, and so like when it went to series, it took a while. Now I've got Bubbles tattooed on my leg. Like, I'm married to it at this point, but.
No, for sure. What is your number 37?
My 37 is not a thing that will make you cry. It's The Killing Joke.
Yay!
Which, again, the thing that could maybe be a little higher, but there's plenty of bad stuff. I think the reason Killing Joke isn't any higher than it is because, admittedly, some of the adaptation of the Killing Joke story proper is fine, just because it's kind of lifted from the page, and that's a great story. So, like, it's not that none of it works. It's just, overall, it's a poor way to consume that material, and the Batgirl short at the start of it kind of ruins the whole experience. Like, that just shouldn't have been there. You either find some way, and I don't think it's that hard, Austin, you either find a way to pad Killing Joke out with more material, not in a way that feels padded, but you just extend that story in some way, like within the story, not by adding crap to the start of it. Or
you get real atmospheric and just do like
just take your time. Just take your time with it.
Just full visual. Just we're holding on shots for long periods of time.
No, I agree.
Really,
it actually feels a little rushed, where it's like we want to paste this exactly like the book, and in that way, it has some of the same problems that Year One does, which also made my list, in that it's forgetting to adapt. It's going, oh, it's a comic book. It's like, no, it's supposed to be a movie. They got to make it a movie. And the voices weren't right for it. It's so distracting to go back to Conroy and Hamill. I never liked that. Hamill always said, I'm retired from the Joker unless they do Killing Joke. And I get why he wanted to do it, but I was always like, that's not right. That's not the way to do that. And then they made it, and that wasn't the way to do that.
When he took a gamble by not doing his more classic Joker voice, and it also didn't work.
Yeah, I at least respect him for trying something.
Yeah.
But it still sounds enough like it. It's distracting. Like, it's not like he comes in and it sounds like a completely different voice. Like, you can tell it's Hamill.
No, he's just doing it scratchier, which also makes him sound a little rougher. Where you hear it and you go, "Ooh, this doesn't sound great."
Yeah, but he's doing some of that in the Arkham games too. Like it's different from Arkham, but it's
a lot
not
farther.
That different.
I don't know. I feel like it's a bit like it's like an octave deeper. But
Maybe.
It's been so long.
I also have only seen that probably the one time. And and this isn't fair. This is completely personal bias, just the experience I had with it, but this whole exercise is subjective and biased. I went to the theater for that. That got a Fathom release, and I had nothing but good experiences with the movies that they decided to release that way before. Like with, well, I say that maybe there's only the one, I can't remember, that I went to. I feel like there were even more than that. I forget what, but like I went to Return of the Cape Crusaders that way, and that movie is probably a bigger deal for me because I got to see it on the big screen. And Killing Joke was like the opposite, and I went with a big crowd, like a bunch of people came out for that. And everybody left with like their head in their lap. I mean, it was depressing. Like communally, everybody had the exact same experience with it. It seemed like.
I mean, I don't know that I've ever met anybody that likes that movie. So
I don't think I've either. But the point I started to make earlier, sorry, I forgot to finish this point, is you either take your time with it, like you're suggesting, Austin. And I think you're absolutely right about how you would pad it. Padding's not the right word, but you know what I mean. Just like actually make it a feature-length movie when the graphic novel reads faster than that, or you make it part of some kind of longer vignette thing, and you find 2 other things about that length to adapt. And I think that's doable. Now, you run the risk of not having cinematic pacing, but if you did 3 of them like that, you'd adjust to the pacing, and you kind of understand what you're doing, and I think there's more credence to that. But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you, Austin.
It's okay. No, I was just going to say one of them should have maybe been the first appearance of the Joker. And then if you have to do 3, that's maybe good. Like Joker's 5-way revenge. I mean, we kind of did that in Laughing Fish.
No, that's great. Make them all Joker, all just Joker stories. What would be cool,
just big important ones,
is if you did them all with completely different creative teams, and so the animation styles all look different. They all have different voices. You do 3 totally different Jokers. That's a great idea.
Yeah, you could have done something like that.
And then the name of the film is The 3 Jokers. Oh wait. Oh. That's not what you want.
Wah wah.
That's not with a special introduction by Jeff Johns.
Yeah, that would not have been great.
Did Killing Joke make your list, I wonder?
No.
I don't know surprised by that. Oh, you said you didn't have a lot of animated stuff, but I thought that would maybe be the 1 or 2.
Well, no. So I did just kind of 1, and which was Son of Batman, and I was like, you could also flip this for like Killing Joke or Batman and Harley Quinn. Like it's kind of just the place for the bad straight to DVD DC movies. And
like I said then, I feel like I've had a long enough history with these things, and I've liked more of them than you have, that I would feel disingenuous in doing it that way. I think they got to have their own sections, their own entries. The worst.
Well, like I said, you feel stronger about them than I do. While like for me, it's just kind of in one ear out the other. Like I don't tend to think about them.
You'll get at least 1 more tonight.
Oh. My next one is also one I don't think any of us can disagree about. It is RoboCop, the remake.
And we already talked about that. Higher on your list.
It is. Yeah.
Why is it so much higher on your list?
Because it's ass.
I was thinking of it as more just mediocre than ass until I have to watch it again. And then while I'm watching it, I'm going, God, this is making me angry.
No, I mean, I would say it probably is more just in the line of being mediocre. But it's also RoboCop and a movie with such a distinct voice. And I think I might have mentioned this last time when you brought it up, but you have both that and Total Recall maybe 2 years apart.
You did talk about that. I've never seen that remake.
Yeah, and it is to Total Recall what RoboCop was to RoboCop.
So I've always been curious about that movie. I've always heard bad things, so I don't know that I'll ever bother watching it. But the only viewing, I'm gonna make somebody mad when I say this. The only viewing I ever had of Total Recall, I wasn't high on it.
Like, you've told me before you didn't really like Total Recall.
Well, I was disappointed in the ending, or at least in the third act for some reason. It's been forever since I saw it, but my wife and I saw it together, and we were kind of excited about it. We'd never seen it, and my wife has seen very little Schwarzenegger stuff. and just as an aside, and so she had like no expectations about it. And when we got to the end, we were like, I'm not really sure why this is as beloved as it is. Like, we were a little disappointed with it, but it's been like over a decade, and I couldn't begin to tell you why we had that feeling about it. But because of that, I don't know if I would be as irritated with a remake of that being as mediocre as the RoboCop remake, just because I adore RoboCop.
No, it's very fair. No, they're both just, here's a movie that's really cool and awesome, and now here's like the most boring, like vanilla thing ever. And there's like maybe 2 ideas in the RoboCop remake that are interesting, but outside of that, it's just got no pulse.
That just sounds like the typical like journalistic copy when you're reviewing a movie about a robot man. And in conclusion, it has no pulse. Yeah, mic drop! No. Drop the mic!
And it's always annoyed me how lame Ed 209 is in that movie, because Ed 209 is the best character in all of fiction, and we completely make him so lame in the remake.
I always thought a big missed opportunity in the animated RoboCop show, or like an animated RoboCop show, like I wish this had happened at some point, would be to make in Ed 209 like the pet, like the talking dog character that like follows him around.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That'd be wonderful.
You have no idea how excited I was in the RoboCop game. There's a level where they're like, Ed 209, he's way better than RoboCop, and to prove it, you're gonna clear out this factory, and we're gonna see who gets the most amount of kills, and you have to compete against Ed 209. I was like, this is great. I love this.
I still really want to play that at some point.
Yeah, it's a ton of fun.
Just gotta see if my computer will run it, because I don't have a system for it.
No, for sure. I still got to get to that new one they put out. That's kind of like the Miles game, where it's just like a little small game.
Yeah. Did they sell that as DLC? Like, did you have to own the other game to buy it, or is it like Miles that you could just buy it straight up?
It's like the Miles game,
because
I assumed it was just DLC, and then when I got it, it like popped up as its own thing, and I was like, oh.
I didn't know that. See, I thought it was DLC that just ran long enough that people were comparing it to the Miles game. I didn't know it was precisely that.
Yeah, no, it's just like a $30 game that's just on its own.
That rocks. Because the Miles game, however you feel about that story, seemed a little bit meatier than I was expecting for that. You know, like, it's not anything like as long as the first game, but it was enough for me for that reduced price, I thought.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I've never bothered with 2. Because again, I don't have a system to play it, and I heard not good things about the story.
Yeah, it seems like people were really down on the story for that one.
And I got really bored with the gameplay with those games, where I just got sick of the waves and waves of enemies. Like, at some point I was just like, my thumb hurts.
It's very repetitive.
I don't want to play this anymore. Where are we now, sir? 36?
Yes.
My 36 is a movie that you have named already. Can you guess what it is? Do you have a guess? And I'll say it's a movie that you named last stream.
Okay, I'm looking at this. I'm trying to think of what
you got. A 1 in 10 shot, and probably less, because there's probably other things in that have been mentioned already too.
I'm gonna say I'm between 2.
Okay,
and it's funny because they're connected.
Okay. It's not Birds of Prey. Well, you haven't said that yet.
Okay. That other one might be higher though. Okay, I'm thinking it's either Shazam 2 or Black Adam.
It is Black Adam.
Well
done. I already talked about all the reasons I don't like that movie. It's higher than it is on your list because you find a couple things about that way more amusing than I do, and I had an even worse viewing of it when we did it for the Blind Commentaries.
Yeah, no, for sure.
It's just it's rough. It's a little painful. But I've got I'll say other DCEU movies on my list that are higher than that. Have I had one up to this point? Wonder Woman
Yeah, you did
84.
BVS already.
Oh, and I did BVS.
Oh.
I've had 2.
Yeah. Yes, you've had 2.
I've
We
had
both
2.
had. Oh no, I've had 3 so far.
Well, good job, Black Adam.
Well, I guess to Black Adam, we both had 3.
You're even worse in my mind than BVS and Wonder Woman 84.
Good job, Black Adam. You
Way to
changed
go.
the hierarchy.
Dude, I mean, it gets impressive at some point. Amity Blof puts in a $5 super chat. Thanks a lot for the support, man. He says, Mark Hamill not voicing Joker anymore has caused him to elevated. His recent acting has been great, from Fall of the House of Usher to The Long Walk. I mean, I don't know that it has anything to do with his not voicing Joker, but he has had a second life in live-action movies lately, and I've not seen any of them. I actually watched an interview with him the other day talking about his most recent stuff, and I had not seen any of them, so I don't know how any of it is, but I didn't realize he was in Fall of the House of Usher. And they showed a couple of clips, and I was like, oh, cool, he's being the chameleon he always wanted to be more on live, on the big screen. And it's kind of neat to see him doing that in his 70s now.
Yeah, no, he is fantastic in The Fall of the House of Usher. He's also really good in The Long Walk. Okay, Great mentions The Life of Chuck. And I feel bad for him in The Life of Chuck because everybody was really in love with him in it, and when I watched it I was like, okay, he's good, but Mia Sara, who's playing his wife, is giving like a career highlight performance, and I'm like, she's fantastic.
I have to watch this as fast as I can.
Shining over Mark Hamill for me. She's fantastic in that movie.
So
I didn't know she was in it.
Yeah,
so it was
I didn't know about
shock
this.
to me.
I love Mia Sara like a lot, and
yeah,
she'll always be the best Harley Quinn, and it's in live action, which is a joke I'm making, but that's the big the first thing I ever saw her in, and I just thought she was inspired casting in that, and so to hear that she's actually acting with Mark Hamill in a movie is such an interesting coup, because she is the main recurring villain in the only season of the Birds of Prey TV show, and Mark Hamill comes in to voice the 2 Joker lines in the off-screen Joker in the flashbacks in the pilot.
Well, and they're married. They're a married couple.
That's amazing. That's really cool.
I forgot that she played Joker or Harley in that. That's really interesting.
She's really good at it. I mean, that show is not great. It's not super well written, of course, but she's really good in it. And I've seen the unreleased pilot, or like the the cut they did before they did the real one, and they had a completely different actress for her who was awful. She was like Power Ranger villain bad.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And it was crazy that they got such a better actress in Mia Sara. It's nuts.
Yeah. No, Life of Chuck is my favorite movie of the year. Like, I implore you, go watch that movie. It's fantastic.
I will write that down and do that at my earliest convenience, because I did not know about this. I've heard of that movie. I knew nothing about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's Flanagan, and it's a adaptation of a Stephen King novella, but not like a horror novella.
Interesting.
Yeah. No, it's like a character study, like a coming-of-age movie.
Is it still kind of dark? Or like, is it just dramatic?
It's hard to answer without giving stuff away.
Okay.
Yeah, there's dark stuff in it.
Okay.
It's got a crazy cast,
I
too.
wonder if that's streaming
wonderful.
anywhere. I'm going to watch that as soon as I can.
I'm not sure.
Oh, that was last year.
No, it came out this year. It might say last year because it was at a festival last year, and sometimes they do that.
Yeah.
Where, like, it got an actual proper release this
Everything's
year.
saying 24.
Yeah, it'll be because it played... Well, it played at a
Oh, you're right. This cast is crazy.
It's an amazing cast. So last year...
Ejiofor's in it, too?
Yep. He's great in it.
Some of my favorite people are in this movie.
So it won this festival, and it was like the last couple Oscar winners, I think, for Best Picture won that festival, and then it just couldn't find distribution. And then it finally got it, and it was put out at a weird time of year, so now it probably won't get any Oscars consideration, but it's a fantastic movie.
Well, I'm gonna have to make myself watch this.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, I highly recommend it. It's my favorite movie of the year.
We just ran off with ourselves there.
Yeah, sorry for people who don't care about The Life of Chuck, but for those who do, you're like, hell yeah, it got mentioned.
Look, it went longer because it had a superhero screen connection, okay? Like, that helps.
It's got a bunch of superhero movie actors in it.
Yeah, and, like, everything does now, but that specifically with the whole Joker-Harley Quinn thing, that's crazy.
Yeah, and I'd never considered that. That is really cool.
It's pretty neat. Okay, where the hell are we here?
That was just year 36. What was
36
it again?
It was Black Adam.
Black Adam. There we go. Blackest Adam.
We don't need to talk more about. We already did our bit on that. What is your 36?
My 36 is Batman Forever.
Yeah, I knew it was gonna be on your list. That's an agree to disagree place with us. It's fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a little higher than I expected, but whatever.
There's a lot of movies I really don't like after it, so I think it's that. There's stuff I like in Batman Forever, and I feel like I was pretty fair during our rewind about it.
No, I think you were too. I think this is less fair, actually.
It's fine.
But I mean,
Val Kilmer, he's a good Batman.
Like you dislike what you dislike, you know. Like you think back on that, you're always irritated about it. So that's fair.
Yeah, it ruminates within me. But
well, you said it was worse because you really liked it when you were a kid and you first saw it, and then it got like tarnished real bad going back to it as an adult. Like I get that.
Yeah, for sure. What is your number 35?
You're not even gonna talk about it?
No, I was like, we did a whole rewind. Like, I like Kilmer in it. I do not sanction the buffoonery of the villains in that movie. But yeah,
I mean, Two-Face is pretty awful. And we can disagree with Jim Carrey, but like, if you hate what he's doing so much, why are you copying it? I'll never understand that.
Well, and that's the funny thing is I'm like, I kind of like Two-Face a little more because there's at least a couple moments where he's not doing it. And I'm like, oh, there's like a decent performance that could have been here. Well, I don't have that with the Riddler. He is that the entire movie. And so I'm like, Two-Face could have been good if you weren't dumb, Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah, I guess I am having a hard time not just wanting to repeat things that we said in that commentary, and I can't remember if I said this, so I will go ahead and say it in case I didn't. But the more I've thought about it, because like I will still stand behind, obviously, like the stuff I really enjoy with that movie, and that it's kind of like I don't want to say review proof, but it's hard for me to think super critically about that while I'm watching it. Yeah. And then doing it with you, it was really easy to pinpoint the stuff that's just like legitimately not working in that movie. I can do that with 89 now too, but like I'm still never going to get tired of watching it. But anyway, if only Carrey had done something closer to like The Cable Guy or something, because you just don't have a real manic thing with him where like he's supposed to be kind of psychopathic, and you're never seeing like a real honest to God psychopath. It's like he's really reveling in people getting killed, but more in like as a cartoon character than that sort of like serial killer thing that maybe he should have.
Yeah, I'm just seeing the Riddler in a like In Living Color sketch. I'm not seeing an actual character.
Well, it's almost like he's not getting the Gorshin performance, because he's looking so hard at that and the way he's moving and stuff, but what he doesn't have that Frank Gorshin had was this constant like manic energy and like crazy eye thing where it's like, I don't know why you're you're so angry and you're able to go like to the nines back and forth between like complete rapture and utter like anger and contempt, but like Gorshin could flip a switch and go back and forth between them, and yeah, you don't have that with Carrie.
No,
which is what
I don't see any difference between that and like Ace
needed.
Ventura. Like it's the same. Just I'm gonna be a jackass.
And they kind of cast him to do that.
Yeah, and I mean, in fairness to him,
you can't blame him exactly.
No, like in fairness to him, like that's what they wanted, like very clearly.
Well, it's too early in his career. I'm gonna, and you don't have to agree with this, but I'm gonna say he was always good casting, but it needed to be after he had more experience. Because you got to remember, he does Ace Ventura and The Mask the same year, and then Batman Forever is the very next year. He probably would have brought a more manic energy and a more inspired thing to it had it been like just after the Truman Show or something, or again, even after he did Cable Guy, because I think that performance is much closer to what that should have been.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, and I haven't seen the Cable Guy, but I just have that with Carrie in general, where like he kind of just does the same performance, which there are actors certainly that have that I like, but it's just that's an example of its performance I don't like. And you get something like Kick-Ass 2 where he's playing something very different, and I think it works in that. But for the most part, he's just kind of doing the same thing.
And I don't agree with that. I think he evolves a lot as he goes along, and that's true early in his career, because he keeps getting cast to do the same thing. And then it gets really awkward when he's cast to do that again, when he's more middle-aged, and he can't do it anymore.
No, it's embarrassing in the Sonic movies.
Well, that and like
Yes Man
just came 10 years too late. Like that movie was very strange, and like I like that script okay, and he's not bad in it, but it's like go back and do that shtick you were doing 10 years ago, and or 15 or whatever it was. And it doesn't quite work, especially because the actress he's paired with is a lot younger than him, and they're pretending like he's an age he's not, and it's really awkward because they don't know that movie doesn't know there's an age difference, but I do, and it bothers me.
Well, because he's with Zooey Deschanel, and like there's
that's
a big age gap there, yeah. Anyways, yeah. What is your 35?
Okay, so I cheated with 35, and I did kind of the same thing that you're doing with some things where I put two movies together. Well, I say I cheated. I guess technically this one counts as one if now that I'm thinking about it, if Dark Knight Returns counts as one, or if or what do you call it? Long Halloween counts as one. But this is a case where there is a little bit of a quality difference, where one of them is actually worse than the other, and that is Death of Superman, Reign of the Supermen. Which is another thing that I've never gone back to. But
I've never seen.
It just pissed me off all the way through. And it doesn't help, of course, that was adapted once in animation like this poorly, and then we come back and have a chance to do it a little bit more justice. And like, I didn't need it, but if you're gonna do it, don't screw it up again, and don't screw it up and waste my time. Now I've got to watch twice as much of it, because it's neat that we finally got the Reign of the Supermen part, and then I found it no fun at all. It didn't help that it was in the New 52 inspired continuity, and I already didn't like that Superman. Like, that hurt it.
That's why I've never seen it, is I'd already long given up on that universe.
That was not the place to do it. Because it gets really awkward. Okay, and also this is oddly, I don't know if ironic is the right word, but it's really strange to do this. So, Austin, I'll try to be brief with this, but I didn't really think about this until just now. So, New 52 soft reboots DC continuity. And briefly, Death of Superman still counts. Because there's a reference to it in, like, the first issue of Swamp Thing, I think. And then they decide...
Okay.
I know, it's random, but I remember this distinctly, because Snyder did a Swamp Thing, and everybody was wondering what things would count and what things weren't, because Batman was left in a bubble. I've talked about this a million times. Green Lantern was in a bubble, but everything else got full-on rebooted. And keep in mind, Superman were doing 2 books in 2 different time periods, 5 years apart from each other, I think. And so Morrison is doing the earliest days of Superman, and then the other book, whoever was writing that, I can't remember now, is set in present day, and he's had a whole history. And apparently, according to Snyder, he has died somewhere in that 5 years. But then, shortly after that, we full-on retconned that, because in Supergirl, we make, spoilers for that, Zor-El, Kara's father, cyborg Superman. Which is a very strange choice, but they did that. And they made it really clear really quickly that Superman had never died. And then years later, they use Dan Jurgens' Superman to reboot Superman within the New 52 continuity. They literally replace that version with the old continuity's version before later they blended it all together and made it one thing again. It was all very confusing, and that's where John Kent came from, because they have that Superman in another universe aged up, and he's got a kid now, and so he comes over to our universe and replaces Superman after he dies, because they actually kill him. This is the other way you know the Death of Superman didn't happen, because they do their own Death of Superman in New 52, and they kill Superman. So then, the New 52 inspired continuity does Death of Superman when it didn't happen in New 52. And they do Reign of the Superman and all of that, and so they try to blend the New 52 aesthetic and vibe and everything with also the 90s stuff. And, like, it doesn't work at all. And the reason I'm bringing this up now, because I never really thought about this, is just how bizarre that they use specifically Death of Superman to try to save Superman in the comics. Mm-hmm. And then they do that story in the New 52 movies. That's so weird.
No, that's very strange.
Anyway, those movies suck. I just want to move on. Some people seem to like them. I'm not totally sure why. Like, maybe if you're not familiar with that material, it watches better. Maybe I'm just too hypersensitive to it, because that's some of my favorite stuff in comics. I don't know. But one of the big things I remember really hating about it is it seemed to kind of miss the point in skipping over Funeral for a Friend really hard, where we just don't get any time to live in it before we get into the Reign of the Superman stuff. Just, you need 15-20 minutes to at least to experience the world without Superman. Like, I'm not saying you need a long funeral. If you've not read Funeral for a Friend, the whole thing's not a funeral. It's what it really is the world without Superman. Like that idea. What happens? Like how do people feel about it? How do different people react? How does it inspire different people in different ways, positive and negative? And they skip completely over that. And I'm not saying you need a third movie for it. Like, I don't think you need 85 minutes of crying, but you need 15-20 minutes of crying in your Death of Superman thing, I think.
Yeah. You're mad that they didn't adapt the whole, like, this issue had 5 panels for every page, this issue had 4 panels for every page, this one 3, 2, and then 1, counting down to his death. But adapting it to be frames per second, so it's like, you start with, like, was it like 24 for film, and then you go 23 in the next minute, and then 22, until eventually you have 1 frame per second during their fight.
That's great! Yeah, that's what they should have done. I would have respected that.
You know what? It's lazy, but goddamn it, I respect it.
Or you do like the 24 or the Ang Lee Hulk like picture-in-picture thing, and you just
Yeah.
you're literally looking at it in several panels on the screen, and then it's a novelty when it comes down to just the normal frame.
Yeah, exactly. That's when it's like, oh man, this is crazy. I've never seen a movie like this. It's only one panel.
But you do it in like a cell phone aspect ratio?
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
just
It's
takes up
really
center
small on
frame.
the screen.
No, it just takes up the center frame. It just has black bars on the sides.
Oh, so it's like the Snyder Cut.
Yeah, you're just watching a TikTok video.
Beautiful. We love to see it.
That's how it should have been. RJ Godzilla says Suicide Squad Hell to Pay is probably the only good movie of those films. That's not true, I don't think. That is one of the best of them, certainly. But you also had Teen Titans versus Justice League, which was shockingly decent. And
Yeah, and I think you liked Justice League Dark, right?
I did. I like Justice League
Yeah.
Dark, and the big event movie they did to reboot that whole thing was actually pretty good, or at least it was.
Oh, Apocalypse War.
Or at least it was fun. I don't know if good is the right word, but I thoroughly enjoyed that. So, in my opinion, they got 4.
I mean,
But that's 4
better
out of
than
like
nothing.
12 or 16 or whatever they made. Like it wasn't. It wasn't a good track record. They're getting a hard F, is all I'm saying.
I mean, that's more than the straight-to-DVD Marvel movies got.
Apologies for how long I took on that, but I had never made that connection for like the bass-ackwards way that they handled Death of Superman versus what they did in New 52. It's so strange. And I'm not saying they follow the New 52 model for everything, but it's really bizarre how opposite it was.
Mm-hmm. No, because Batman's looking more at Morrison, and then they do Hush.
Yeah, Hush shouldn't have been in that continuity. Although, that was better than it had any right to be. I don't think it's great or anything. I wouldn't put it in the same league as the 4 I just mentioned. And even Apocalypse War, I think, is a little further down than some of the other stuff. Those other 3 that we said were good. Those other 3 are legitimately quite good.
Yeah, and out of those, the only one I've seen is Hell to Pay.
Now, I wasn't sure if that was in that same continuity. But,
it is.
But John Constantine does
where
show up in both Dark and Apocalypse War, which watches partly as a sequel to that.
Well, it is Justice League Dark, Apocalypse War.
Oh,
like it
it
is called
is.
Justice League Dark.
I forgot about that.
Yep.
I've seen that one time.
Yeah, and I haven't seen either of the Dark movies.
I don't know if I own that. I'm
Yeah,
definitely behind on a lot of those as far as my collection goes. A lot of those direct-to-video things. Because I used to buy everything as it was coming out, and at some point I was like, "This is getting out of hand, and I don't want to pay full price every time because I know." Well, what would happen is I wouldn't watch them right away, and then I would see them a lot cheaper, almost all of them, like a year or two later, and I'm like, "Why am I dropping?" The 20, 25 bucks every time they come out when I could just wait and I'm not watching right away. Because very often at that point I had a lot of streaming services and they were dropping very often day and date with Max or like a couple weeks after or something. And so you really didn't need to own them.
Yeah, that makes sense. My 35 is The Amazing Spider-Man.
Wow. But I mean, my feelings aren't hurt or anything. That means 2 is above this because you haven't said it yet. Yeah, surely. Now, I would cry foul if you put Amazing on here and you didn't include 2. I can't have that. Like, that's crazy.
No, that would not have happened. That would not have happened. I can tell you that at least.
That's crazy talk. When I say I can't have it, I just mean I know you better than that. Like, we've talked about these movies. There's no way that would happen.
And no, there's no way that would have happened.
Talk about your Venom for Amazing Spider-Man.
My Venom. I see. Yeah.
I only did that because I say the word vitriol too much, and I was trying to think of a synonym.
Oh, well, now it doesn't seem as clever.
Talk about your vitriol for Amazing Spider-Man.
I thought you were being clever. Venom,
That's not that clever.
Spider-Man.
He's not in it.
Yeah, but I mean, better than nothing. I
Sorry,
don't know.
Go ahead.
Venom was in the trailer, kind of, for Amazing 2.
Oh yeah, because they had that. Was that case of the artifacts they had for the Sinister Six?
It's when he's walking by the the wall where it's like the vulture wings, the Doc Ock arms, and there was one that was just like an orb with the symbiote in it.
And that made people think they were gonna do it like Ultimate or something. Mm-hmm. Although I guess it could go either way with that, because it's still like the goo comes from space like that, so I guess it wouldn't. That doesn't necessarily mean it was genetically engineered.
But it probably would have been, because that's just what those movies were doing. Like, everything just comes from Oscorp. They were all genetic or whatever experiments.
That was one of the things I didn't like about it, was it has that kind of kryptonite thing where there's that one explanation for literally everything that happens. Mm-hmm. And too many things are coming from the experiments that they're doing with the spider blood, and so everything Spider-Man feels like almost predestined. Like, it's not Spider Totem bad, but
the Amazing movies have it really bad though. Especially when you get to 2 and it's like, oh, only Peter Parker can get powers and not have these bad consequences because Richard Parker like put it in the DNA of the spider or whatever, or like put his DNA in it, so it's like you need the Parker DNA for it to work out or whatever. There's like that whole thing.
Oh yeah, now that's
and
rough.
It's like, what are we doing? But yeah, Amazing Spider-Man 1. It's the Spider-Man origin again, and it is a movie that entirely feels like it was made piece by piece by Sony execs in a boardroom. Of, okay, what did we not do last time? What are we going to put back in? What are things that people want in a Spider-Man movie? Blah blah blah. Here we have corporate product. Boom, there you go. We got it. Their Peter Parker, I think his characterization's a mess. I think he's a weird stalker in both movies. You have the Thing. It gets way worse in 2, but I think it's also in the first movie where, because people really talked about like, oh man, Spider-Man jokes again. And it's like, in the first movie, it feels like a reshoot where he has one scene where the guy pulls the knife and he stops to do his stand-up routine for a minute. And then it has like an awkward hard cut where he goes really serious. And it's like, this just feels like a reshoot. And also, Spider-Man quips, he doesn't sit around doing like 5-minute long stand-up routines to people. And it gets worse in 2. But it is in the first movie and it's really annoying. And then on top of that, the Lizard sucks.
Yeah, the Lizard does really suck. And that has that problem of leaving out, like the one scene that makes your villain kind of sympathetic. Like, how do you lose the thing with his family? You don't even know if he has a family.
But I've always even rejected that, because like that's always the defense. And I'm not like saying like, oh boo, you're wrong. I just mean that people always go, oh, but they cut like the one scene with the family.
I'm not saying that makes it that much better. I'm just saying that's...
No, I know.
That's how I'm saying. I'm not attacking you. That's how out of touch they are. Is the one thing they have. They don't even leave in the movie. Like,
yeah, no. That's why I wanted to say I'm not attacking you for saying that. But it's like, yeah, it also shouldn't have been one scene. Like, if it was in the movie, why is that it?
I agree.
That should be his main motivation, and what we're dealing with is his family. Like in all of this, like, it's crazy that they only made one scene that was deleted. That's complete madness. Yeah.
So as far as the quippiness thing goes, I think I think you're partly right about it. The thing for me is it's just in the wrong place. And maybe I don't know if I'm just like bringing something. If I'm giving it too much credit, I'm bringing something to it that's not there. I don't think I am, but and I'll also slightly fight you on the stalker thing, just because I never saw it that way, but I totally see why you see it like that. I think
Peter
it's
has a picture. Oh, no, go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
think, yeah, I forgot about that whole thing, but there so that's fair. But there is a maybe kind of a communication mishap that's happening where what it felt like he was supposed to be was aloof and antisocial and just starts from a way darker place than Peter Parker usually does. So it's just a different take on it, and it's kind of starting at a more ultimate place, but making him even more antisocial. And that's I think, a fair possible starting place when you're upset about the death of your uncle and you can't find the person that did it and you're wanting revenge with that, and then you get past the revenge place at some point. So the point I'm making is the quip stuff should not be starting when he's in that really dark, could almost be a villain place. And that's where that whole stand-up routine you're talking about happens. It's while he's looking for his uncle's killer. That's not where you do that. He should have developed it later. And you should have seen a natural evolution where he gets a little bit brighter as he puts the suit on. When that movie first came out, I defended it pretty hard for the darker color palette, because I thought thematically where it might have been going is, and it should have brightened up more toward the end, but I felt like where it might have been going is this is a Spider-Man that wants revenge, and the movie actually knows it, so you don't have that awkward did he knock the guy out of the building or not thing that you have in Raimi's movie. And then as it goes along and he is embracing the responsibility thing, as long as he's wearing the costume, he is becoming a more positive, optimistic sort of character, and I think that's what it should have been. And then when you get to the second movie, it is lighter, but not for the right reasons, and it doesn't feel like they're doing that intentionally at all. So like a more aloof, like starting from an angrier place with Peter Parker, I think that's totally valid.
No, so like I love Ditko Spider-Man. Like that's one of my favorite versions of Spider-Man, who is much more just an asshole. And
Yeah, true.
So like I've heard
Nobody
people
remembers it that
say,
way, but you're right.
yeah, no, very true. Like early Spider-Man feels like he could become a villain, so I have no issue with that being the character arc. That's fine. My issue is more so I just don't think it comes across, and especially in how we handle him being an outsider. When you have like, oh, Peter Parker, he rides his skateboard down the hall because he doesn't fit in, and it's like it's stuff like that where I'm like, I feel like it's just boardroom execs being like, this is how he's different, and he like do that, like that's cool, and like, oh, but he's also like a science nerd, and just like all this stuff. Like none of it feels just like a character to me. It just feels like we just threw a list of traits, and then that's our take on Peter Parker.
Yeah, Rumsky, you and Austin are both right about that, with Ditko's version being more antisocial. I haven't gone back to those earliest issues in a long time. The way I always remember it is that he's just an outcast, but he's kind of like easily bullied, and so I always think of it as more the way Raimi handled it. Because like, I guess the different terms you'd use is socially awkward versus antisocial. And
yeah, because Raimi is more Ramita Senior. Like when you flip to that side of it,
and I think a lot of us mistakenly remember the Ditko version as being that. And you're right, it's not. And I always think about that wrong. And I think when Dan and I were reviewing the early issues, we did page by page the first like 10 or 12. And I think when we were reviewing those, we kept commenting on how much of a jerk face he was. But I always forget that. So yeah, that is my mistake, certainly. But there's more of an,
no. I'm just saying
there's more
that
of
to
an
say
emo
that, like,
thing that we're doing with it,
Yeah.
you know, in trying to modernize it, certainly. But I
Yeah.
think you are right. I remember thinking this even in the theater, that it's trying to modernize it, but it's like 15 years too late. Like the way it's looking at it like late 90s, early 2000s kind of thing, and
Yeah, and
it doesn't know what
always
year
just
it
come
is.
across cringy to me.
That was one of the big things that I never really liked. The skateboard thing didn't work for me. Like the wardrobe was kind of odd. Some of the, like, he gives Gwen Stacy these just weird looks that make him feel stalkerish, and that's why I always was able to kind of ignore that. Where I'm like, there's some weird direction that's happening here, but I don't think that's what I'm supposed to be taking from it. So I was always able to ignore that.
It gets so much worse in 2, but like it's I don't know. It's still pretty rough in the first one, especially where he's got like a picture of her as a screensaver on his computer. It's so weird.
Yeah. I don't know why that never bugged me that much. I mean, like when you say it out loud, like, I get it. Like, sure. I don't
two,
think
he's straight up stalking her.
I don't think I ever
but-
would have done that. I'm just thinking back to like when I was in high school, because like you gotta give high school kids, they're not they're not gonna be real mature yet. They're gonna do some things that are out of bounds, and so like I'm looking back
Absolutely.
and I'm just thinking, like, is that a thing kids do though, or like might do? Like, I think there's a difference between a 16-year-old Peter Parker is not even thinking that what he's doing looks like stalker behavior, and if an adult took him aside and said, hey, that's a little out there, or that's a little too far, he might think about it and go, oh, you know what, you're right, this is not what a grown-up person. There's a difference between that and what's happening in Superman Returns.
Yeah, I mean, it gets closer to that by Amazing 2, but
You're not wrong. No, you're not wrong, but we're talking about one right now.
But he does just have that affect in the first one, even for me. But
I can't argue
at the
with
same
you.
time, I mean, I also get what you're saying. Like, teenagers are flawed people. I don't want to say he's got to be perfect at all times, but there is just a creepy affect I find that Peter has.
Yeah. I don't know why that didn't initially jump out at me, but you're making a very convincing argument.
And then the lizard just sucks. That's the worst part of it.
Also, your
what
whole
is
corporate
your-
boardroom
what?
thing, Reed, I've never thought about, and I like, good call, because that's how you get to what's his plot gonna be. He's gonna turn everyone into lizards. That's what we do in these things, right? Like,
He's gonna shoot the beam in the sky. How do you make it more Christopher Nolan? Make it more of that, even though it's Spider-Man, and you shouldn't have that.
and it doesn't help that comes out the same year as Rises,
No,
right? Isn't that 12?
it is. Yeah.
That was one of the things that made that summer kind of disappointing for me, because I like that movie more than you do. And the thing is, and I'm going to sound like I just let everybody I talk to completely sway me, but like, shortly after that came out, Dan and I had a really good commentary on it, where both of us together were kind of coming to, we were seeing, I forget what exactly, some really interesting character and thematic stuff in that movie that neither of us had noticed before. But I mean, I had that with Man of Steel, and then it's like, there's these cool flashes of great ideas, but then, does the whole live up to that? Don't get me wrong, I still overall like that take more than you do. But
yeah, which is completely fair.
when I first saw that movie, like, I liked it more afterwards. I had more the feeling about it that you do now the first time I saw it. I wasn't real high on it. If we reviewed it, I don't know what my review was. So you might go back to that and be like, no, Cap, you said nice things. I don't remember what I said. But what I remember feeling was, why did this and Rises have to come out in the same summer? And, like, the only saving grace she had was Civil War. As far as...
Avengers?
No, I'm sorry, Avengers. Yeah. I'm thinking different.
It threw me off for a second. I was like,
no, you're right.
I'm just pretty sure I was keeping track of what you were saying. I don't think I got lost.
I'm in different eras because then I had the exact same experience when I've got BVS the same summer.
Yeah.
So sorry, that's why that happened. That's where my brain went.
That's
Apologies,
okay.
we're talking about too many things at once. But yeah, that 12, and then the only saving grace I had was Avengers, and then outside of superhero, yeah, Skyfall that year, which was also a big movie for me, but
and just The Better Rises,
yeah, which was extremely odd, given that you had the guy that wanted to be making Bond that was shackled to Batman, and then you had a Bond movie that was looking at what he was doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's a snake eating its own tail. What is your 34?
I'm destroying any shred of credibility that I had left. And I don't even know what the hell year I'm in.
Where am I?
Okay, so based on the way you decided to structure your list, I decided to do the same thing with 3 or 4, and so I worksheeting a little bit. Austin decided to pair up some things where he's like, here are like 2 movies in the same franchise that are both kind of equally not good. I'm just going to put them in the same place instead of finding a place to rank them. It makes the conversation in the list kind of more interesting.
Yeah, just there's things where it would be like, oh, this movie, and then immediately after, oh, it's sequel. I don't know, they're basically the same movie.
Yeah, and I decided you were right about it because in the top 100, and also like you got to put it 100, so it makes a little bit more sense not to group them. But I mean, I guess you did there too.
Yeah.
But I had at least a couple of places where I had 2 movies in the same franchise in their numbers right next to each other, and so yeah,
I think I had that too.
It might have made sense to put them together. So I did do the same thing that you did with a couple of things at least. And so my 34 is both Fantastic Four and Rise of the Silver Surfer. Although I do think, as we talked about, because we've now done both of those movies on the commentary project, Rise of the Silver Surfer is the worst of the 2, which is bizarre and interesting because that was the one with the story, and it's still somehow worse.
So that, I'll just say, is one that I did pair up. Because, yes. I'm actually reversed from you, though. I think I might like Rise of the Silver Surfer a sliver more, just because I like the Silver Surfer in it. Like, he looks cool.
That's
like,
true.
That's more than I have in the first movie, but at the same time, it's like... You know what I mean? So I can also fully understand where you're coming from. And that movie pisses you off because of Galactus.
And I don't know why it was... Every time I see it, it's a rougher watch. And even rougher than that first movie. I think partly just because I can kind of see the potential in it, where it's one of those irritating origin movies that goes... Well, we've got to waste everybody's time, like, putting this... And really wasting our time with that movie, because they just make it a sitcom. Where I'm like... If we come up with a cool story and use these same characterizations, like, yes, I'm not liking the Sue and Reed relationship, and she is somehow worse than Mary Jane in the Raimi Spider-Man movies. At least you could maybe sober the whole thing up a little bit. And Rise of the Silver Surfer was your opportunity to do that, and it fails at that spectacularly. So yeah.
Yeah, no, they're both bad. I think we've done both on Rewind at this point.
That's what
right?
I said. We've done them both.
Yeah, I thought so. I saw this the other day, Cap. I don't know if you've ever seen the game for Rise of the Silver Surfer.
No, I haven't.
But that game ends with you fighting Doctor Doom to get the surfboard back, and then the final cutscene is like, here you go, Surfer, here's your surfboard. And he's like, thanks, I'll go stop Galactus. And then he flies away and it just ends.
Really?
You don't see it happen?
He just flies off, you're like, okay, there you go.
Flies away.
That's all you get.
Yeah, I was dying laughing when I saw that. It's really funny.
Well, when you and I watched it together, Austin, there were things that jumped out at me, like as not working that I hadn't even bothered me before. Like we talked about. Like
Yeah.
I used to like the Fishburne casting. I don't think it works at all anymore. I like.
Mhm.
You know, I kept going. Remember we had that whole conversation about how if you gave Galactus a voice, that's the right voice. Why the heck is he a Silver Surfer? And he even thought he was going to play Galactus. Like he got cast. He was like, "Oh, cool! I get to be Galactus. I'm Silver Surfer. What kind of sense does that make?" Even Fishburne knew it was wrong. He did it anyway. Because why not take the paycheck? But
Why are you putting my voice in this man's lips? His voice is perfectly fine for the Silver Surfer.
yeah, that too. It should have just been the actor they had.
Yeah. At least he got to do it in Hellboy 2. He got to be the voice of his own character there.
It's crazy it happened to him with multiple characters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, poor Doug Jones. But
that is a franchise that I don't want to have to go back and watch either of those. And so it's hard to not want to pair them together because that second movie does obviously carry over a lot of the problems from the first one. That's why you put them together. But I think it bothers me more because that movie actually has a plot.
Yeah.
And it should have been much better because of that. I don't know.
No, and so when we started making this list, it was around when First Steps was coming out, and our buddy Noah was like, "I've never seen."
When you started, because I made mine like a day before we actually started the series.
No, you're right. You're right. No, our buddy Noah was like, "Oh, I've never seen the Fantastic Four movies. I want to watch them beforehand." So we watch partied them, and the two Tim Story films were just my starting place. Where it's like, okay, these two movies, and I built a list around it because I just happened to watch them again, right before this. But yeah, they very much belong.
Well, that makes me wonder how high they are because we haven't seen them on your list yet. I don't think.
There's going to be some Fantastic Four on my list. No, we haven't yet.
I didn't think so.
Mm-hmm. No, don't worry. There's going to be some FF on my list.
I am curious to see if
that I can tell you.
I am curious to see if the new one shows up on your list. Because I know you were not happy about that, and I'm not with you on that. Like I get your beef with that, and I'm disappointed with it, but you're angry in a way I couldn't muster with that. But
yeah, I don't know. It was, anyways. Yeah. Speaking of movies that are gonna piss everybody off, my 34 is Wonder Woman.
Yeah, but we all knew that. We all knew that.
Yeah, we all knew it was coming.
And you've given perfectly valid critiques with that. Like, I mean, say whatever you want to say, but like we've.
Well, I was gonna say I feel like I don't have to say a ton because we've talked about it a lot.
Which is funny because we haven't even done the rewind commentary on it yet, which we'll probably put off for a really long time because we've done a commentary on that now together. It was blind, but like,
yeah, no, I would be more prepared, like kind of for the week after we did the that blind commentary. I was like, oh, I should have said this for like this. Like I didn't explain myself super well in places, but that's just what you get when you didn't rewatch it beforehand and you're watching it blind and trying to like remember things. But yeah, I mean, I don't like Gal Gadot. I don't think she's a good actress. What else can I say for putting this movie on here?
I mean, I know it's not. I know it's not just that with you though. Like I know you think that they fundamentally don't understand that character, and
yeah, I just think it's a movie that's not very good. But what is your number 34?
And that's one that was on my top 100 that winds up somewhat high on your bottom 50. I mean,
I guess I'm at 3 so far.
What's the other one besides? Oh, I forgot. Watchmen was on your list now. Yeah. And Batman Forever.
Oh, 4 then, because Powerpuff Girls.
Powerpuff Girls. Yeah. No, remember Batman Forever was in my top 20.
Oh yeah, sure. I don't know why that
I had it real high.
For a second, I forgot that I'd said Batman Forever already. And then you maybe had Amazing Spider-Man, but I don't remember.
Oh, I did. No, we talked about that. Yeah, I did.
So okay, 5. Oh.
Well, I mean, at least people can't come in and claim that they're always listening to an echo chamber.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, there's that.
Hmm. Well, no, because I both hate 5 movies that you love, and I hate you too.
Oh, well, and the horse you rode in on.
Well,
What? Wow.
oh, especially that stupid horse.
You caught me off guard
Thinks
with
he's
that.
so much better than me.
That was really funny. My 33 is the same kind of thing as Fantastic Four and Rise of the Silver Surfer. It's another duo.
Oh.
And I didn't know how to
I'm
rank
about
them.
to get a duo.
I felt like they went right next to each other, and they
Yeah.
and actually they have some things in common. I'm going to say this before I even tell you what it is. In that I just love doing this. I love throwing clues at you, Austin. In that they are 2 movies in a franchise that obviously intended to continue and got canceled prematurely. Where the first movie did well enough to get a sequel, not huge guns. The sequel did not do all that well. It's got a lot. It carries a lot of the same problems as the first movie over. In some ways, I can see why people might like the sequel more, but I still think overall it's not as good, even though I don't like either of them. Do you have a guess?
I think I might know.
What
Is it the Michael Bay Turtles?
It is.
Ah,
It is.
I knew it.
It's the 2014 Turtles and then Out of the Shadows.
Yes. Have I ever told you about the last time I watched that?
Huh.
It was like 3 in the morning, and John and I were talking, and he mentioned that he'd never seen it, and I don't know why. I guess just it's 3 in the morning.
I think you did tell me about this, but go ahead.
I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Oh man, you've never seen the Michael Bay Turtles films? We gotta watch it." And then we watched both of them, and I don't know why, because I don't like them. I'm not even a giant Turtles fan. Like, why is that my reaction?
I can't remember if John's a Turtles guy at all. I don't think he is.
I think he might be. I know he's really excited because he just got that Arrow release of the trilogy.
Oh, did he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was really excited about that.
I have not gotten that yet. Because I think there's a possibility that Connor's also getting me that set. So I gotta wait and see if that happens. But yes, he kind of hinted at it. So Connor's a really nice friend. He's I got him a Christmas present. Anyway,
Not only did Connor get you that set, but he personally stabbed the 3rd film out of it.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate that. No, I mean, that may not be happening, and if it doesn't, I will try to get that next year. Hopefully, they don't sell out of it because I just have not been prioritizing movies a lot lately. But that I really need to make sure I get a copy of because we never got good special features for those. And that first movie especially is supposed to have a bunch of... Now, we've gotten a lot of like commentary matter on the line subsequently. Like, everybody involved in that movie has talked a lot about it at this point because it's so beloved, but was never official stuff on disc.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, like there was. Remember when we had a bunch of those kind of roundtable discussions during COVID, where everybody's like locked in their house and bored, and so you'd get these streams where just a bunch of people would come out of the woodwork and talk together about a big project. And the 90 Ninja Turtles had one of those, and like a bunch of people were there. They had like Judith Hogue there, and the Splinter puppeteers, like everybody was in that.
That's awesome. But to cool. the not as good Turtles reboot.
I mean, what can I say? Their designs are painful to look at, and they're gigantic, but we're supposed to pretend like they're stealthy, and I don't know how that's supposed to work. And I mean, I can go down a laundry list of obviously why that doesn't work, but it's sort of like what you were talking about with the whole boardroom thing with Amazing Spider-Man. I always had that with those, where it's like we
very
just,
much so.
We just look at the culture right now and like everything we think might get a particular demographic in the seats, and we're looking obviously at the Michael Bay Transformers movies, and his name is on these, and I don't know that he was at all involved in making those what they were, but his production company is making them. And
well, and the first one has almost the same climax as Amazing Spider-Man. Like, they're very similar climaxes.
That's true. Yeah, I think I might have said that when I wrote about it.
Mm-hmm. No, because that duology and the Amazing duology have a lot in common.
Yeah, they do too. Yeah, I said that with Fantastic Four, but Amazing also has that.
Yep.
The only difference is I couldn't put Amazing and Amazing 2 together because I put Amazing on my top 100, and you probably have them both, and you have them both on your list, and you actually didn't put them together.
Yeah, they're too different. That's not a case where it's like, oh, this is the same movie.
So you're not doing that as a rule. You're not like, if I don't like both of them, they're together. You didn't do that with everything.
No, it's just if it's something that the reason why I don't like it is exactly the same for both of them, then they're together.
But I mean, yeah, it's kind of more what can you even say that you do like about those. Like, I thought it was kind of fun that we tried to go back to 87, and like, if you're gonna do live action Turtles again, well, I say that, like, that's not even what I ever would have wanted for live action. Like, if you're gonna do something more comedic and kind of go back to Saturday morning, like, do it animated, I guess. But I was just gonna say, it was the first time, because Nickelodeon had the rights to everything, and they're able to do, Shredder, Krang, Technodrome, all that stuff, that we actually adapted some of that cartoon stuff in a big budget movie, and it might have been fun to have some of that stuff, but it's just real cookie cutter and uninspired, and what story was there didn't end up making any sense. And I've complained 100 times about the stupid thing where they kidnap 3 of the 4 turtles when they had Splinter right there, and all they needed was blood. So, like, why? And, like, I've never understood that. It's ridiculous. And it felt like they did that just to try to, they think, cleverly reverse the formula, where, like, you always have Raphael get kidnapped, so it's like, let's have the other 3 get grabbed, and all of them, like, no.
When they take them to the giant snow mountain in New York.
Yeah, right. It's a landmark. You remember that? You remember when the giant snow mountain got blown up in Independence Day? That's why it's a landmark.
Yeah, exactly. That was the worst disaster New York ever had, was when they blew up the giant snow mountain.
The sequel, I remember in the theater, as it started, like, enjoying quite a bit more, where it's like, oh, it's starting to feel more like a Turtles thing. It felt like at first a step up, like Sonic 1 to Sonic 2. Which I know I have more than you do, in that now we're actually doing more of the lore stuff, and so it's a little more fun. 'Cause, we got Krang there, and we're doing Bebop and Rocksteady, and like it's starting to look familiar at the very least. But then, like, the Casey Jones thing is weird, and I don't know, like, halfway through I was just bored with it, and it had lost me, and I'm really looking at my watch, and it's got, like, the same climax that, like, 100 other superhero movies have, and I didn't like the way they did Krang at all. I thought the special effects looked really phoned in. It was kind of hard to look at, And I thought Megan Fox was one of the only things, it's really odd to say, that sort of held that first movie together. And the second movie, she does not want to be there, and you can tell.
Mm-hmm. No, and it's got that same tonal shift that Amazing 1 and 2 do.
Yeah.
The second Turtles one, at least in the movie, knows who the villain is.
No, that's true. It's not compromised in the same way, because they've at least got the starting place they have, and so they're not like leaking stuff about it to see how the fans are going to feel about it and then panic when people are angry. Like they didn't have that.
Yeah. No, very true. Because they were like, oh, we'll lean more into it. It's going to be like the 80s cartoon. And it kind of is. There's stuff from it there. I
Yeah.
mostly just like Bebop and Rocksteady in that movie, and everything outside of that.
Yeah, they're
Kinda
kind of
whatever.
fun, but then they do potty humor stuff with it that I don't need.
Mhm.
Now I feel like I'm in an Illumination film. I did think some of the over the top stuff with the turtle van was kind of fun.
Yeah.
Like it's funny. There's
fair.
individual pieces where I can look at that and go, I should like this more than the first movie, but
Mhm.
when I go back to it, I give up. I
Yeah.
have a hard time sitting through it, and I find it's hard to explain why. I find it harder to sit through Out of the Shadows than the first one.
When the second one has
Even
some
though
of the
I can
worst
point
needle
out, I can
drops.
make you a top 10 list of things I like in the second one, and I don't know if I can do that in the first movie. But it's easier to sit through. I can't explain it.
Yeah. I mean that's fair. The second one also has some of the worst needle drops in that
Oh, I
point where they're
forgot
trying
about
to do the
that.
Guardians thing where it's like,
Yeah.
oh, we gotta break into the police headquarters. Oh, a little less conversation. It's like, oh,
I
what are
forgot
we
they
doing
did
here?
that. Stop
Why,
it.
stop doing that. And then Casey Jones is so lame.
Yeah.
And he takes out Bebop and Rocksteady, which is the only thing I like, so it makes it even more lame.
I just think it's hilarious that they get Stephen Amell in that, and they literally make it. I mean, I can't say literally, but it's exactly what you would expect from a CW Casey Jones.
Yeah.
Like it was the right casting, if that's what you're gonna do with it, because it's CW Casey Jones. They're like, let's make him a cop for no discernible reason.
I still can't believe they do the joke where he puts on the hockey mask and he's like, "Here's Casey Jones," and it's like there are holes in that mask.
They had to go out of their way in ADR, or maybe not ADR, but like in post, to muffle it, to
Yeah.
pretend like like that's so backwards. I don't know if I've ever seen that in anything. Where like an open mouthed thing or something with holes in it, you're pretending like is muffled. We do stuff all the time where we'll put a voice on top of something masked to make it clearer. When you go, well, there's no way you'd be able to hear that guy's voice. You can't do it the other way. That's insane.
You can hear Shredder. He's got a full mask.
One thing that it does not have in common with the amazing duology, as you put it, is it was clear where a third movie was trying to go with that. I don't know what the hell you would have done with a third one of those. Because they get to the end of that, and if memory serves, and I haven't seen it in a really long time, but don't they have the Turtles go public at the end of that?
They do,
because they're
yeah.
doing the 87 thing, which 87 does.
It's out of the shadows.
Right. I'm dumb. That's the title of the thing.
Yeah.
I
had
just
to think
second guessed it
about
for a second because it's been a while. But it's like, well, what do you do with a third one now? It's like now, can you imagine just how obnoxious that would have been? It's like now the celebrity is. That's what they would have done. In fact, you know what it would have done? You know what they would have done? They would have wound all the way back to the first story, Fantastic Four. That's what that movie would have been.
Oh. No, it'd be like, oh, we're celebrities now, and then David Bowie's Fame starts playing. As they're like going down the parade, like waving, and it's like, yeah. Oh no, Triceratons are attacking.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, but they'll do the space movie, but they won't go to space.
I mean, you kind of have that with the Technodrome in that movie, because the Technodrome comes from space.
Well, the Technodrome comes from Dimension X. I think it's still Dimension X in that.
Oh, maybe, but like the way it's shot is like it's coming from space, because it's like coming from the sky.
I don't remember. Oh yeah, because they kind of made that's so dumb because it was like floating in midair. They made the Technodrome the light in the sky in that movie.
They do, yeah, because they have the same climax.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, in a broader mythology sense with Turtles, Austin. I'm not gonna begrudge them the technodromes in it, but they don't go to another place. You know what I mean?
No, I'm just saying it would like it's like that. Like we've already kind of done that, so now you just do it again. But it's like here are like these other beings. Like
Yeah.
it's just how you repeat the same movie. Is all I was saying.
Because the way you usually do Triceratons is that's your first foray into like space and cosmic stuff. Or, like we go out there and it's sort of like the Shi'ar in X-Men, where it's like that's the big species that we're dealing with. And I imagine they would have been lame enough to have Triceratons from space, but we don't actually go to space.
No, they would come down, and then Michelangelo would be like, "Hey, man, like Spock, dude."
Well, except he's got 4 fingers. He wouldn't even be able to do it. That would be the joke.
Yeah, and then he'll go like, "Oh, like I can't even do it."
God, I wonder.
I
If
kind
you
of
need...
always do the Spock thing. Whoa.
I wonder if you need 5 fingers to do a mind meld.
Dude, April is so hot, dude. Triceratons, you should see it. This is exactly what that movie would have been, line for line.
I think that's true. I have nothing to add.
Exactly.
What is your 33?
33 is Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Shocker.
You can't escape me. Yeah.
You only complain about that movie every other video. On
Okay, you're right.
Whatever
Like
topic. It doesn't matter what the topic is.
You're right. Like Wonder Woman, I won't divulge into it.
So
'cause
that's-
I've done it a million times.
But that's 6 now, because that was low on my top 100, but it was on my top 100.
True. Yeah.
I believe.
I don't know if I'll have more, but we'll see.
Well, for people that haven't heard you talk about that, just real briefly. Just because I know there's going to be people that are like, "How do you have an Avengers movie on your bottom 50?" Because that I'll say real quick, that at this point I think is a lot less liked than it was when it came out. I think it was a little bit divisive at the time, but I heard more positive than not. And maybe it's just my circles. I don't know at the time, but I think I think that has degenerated in appreciation as time has gone on, but I think you're still a little bit on an island just in how much you dislike it. I think for a lot of people that's the mediocre one. That's the one they don't go back to. But like, I don't think people are angry about it. You're angry about it.
I don't even know if I'm like fully angry.
It's every other video.
I just rant about it a lot. I don't know. Give me a freaking bone here. No.
Well, it's funny I'm fighting you this hard with this, because I also am not like the... I mean, I put it on my top 100. I think it's fine. I had to have 100.
Yeah. No, I mean, the big thing with Age of Ultron is I don't really like Joss Whedon, and like that stuff is... It like takes over more for me in the from the first one.
Yeah.
And it feels like all of the issues I have with his Justice League cut, it feels like he's starting to get to that point where it's like I can see the seeds of his Justice League all through Age of Ultron.
Now I'm really not looking forward to going back to it if you're right about that.
Yeah, I mean, there are things when we get to it where I will be like... There's going to be things when we get to it where I'm like, and then this will be in Justice League, and then this will be in Justice League. But anyways, I also don't like their take on Ultron. I think he's super lame. It's cool that we got an Avengers film where they're just the Avengers, but like the fact that I don't think it works makes me more frustrated that it's the only one that does that, because I'm like, this should be the one that I go back to the most. But I don't like most of the choices in it.
And you mean because all the others have to be an event film, and the two after it bring in other characters that aren't really Avengers?
Yeah, exactly. And the first one's a setup, like origin movie. So it's like that's the only one where it's just the Avengers. It's where I really start disliking Ruffalo's Hulk. I don't really like what most of the characters get to do in that movie.
It's interesting that you've got Hulk issues that early.
Yeah.
Because, that doesn't become a problem for me until Ragnarok.
Ragnarok's where it gets worse, but I don't like Hulk at all in that movie.
That's
in Age of
interesting.
Ultron. Yeah. No, and then Thor's entire subplot is just there to be a commercial.
No, that is true.
Everybody loves Hawkeye in that movie, but I find him really annoying because almost all of his dialogue is just, I am 2 weeks from retirement. I'm never going to die. I'm going to retire. And it's just there to be like, uh-oh, it wasn't him that died. And I'm like, okay, but like, that still sucked. I didn't get enough out of him.
I've heard people say that subsequently. I never picked up on that on my own. Like, that he was supposed to be a red herring.
It's like half his dialogue. It's really frustrating.
Yeah, I never noticed that. Like, I wasn't going through that movie going, somebody's gonna die.
Nor was I, but like, he keeps winking at the camera being like, I'm gonna retire after this. Like, I hope I get to, be with my family at the end. Like, I'm gonna do my thing.
Yeah, I never caught that as any kind of like pretending to be set up or anything, so much as just trying to give him a character thing and making a big revelation out of he's actually got a personal life, which I always thought was a good choice.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then I think I've always just been super disappointed right from the get-go, because I remember Whedon being like, this is just a different Avengers film. Like, there's no sequelitis in it. And I'm like, but here's everything that is just the first movie again. Like, there's so much of it in Age of Ultron, and like the climax is
certainly
just
the third act. Yeah,
it's just the helicarrier and New York fight like merged, and then we have to stop to have the Hulk versus somebody fight as well. Like, there's just so many things in it where I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, this feels formulaic as well. But anyways, I like Scarlet Witch in it. I think she's good.
Yeah.
Anyways, I've ranted about it a million times, like I said, but for those of you who've never heard me rant about it every video, there you go.
I'll give you credit and say it's every other video.
Yeah, okay.
So now, if you didn't understand it before, this is why it was on. It was on my top 100, not Austin, because I actually like more things in that movie than Austin. I just think it's way too truncated, and I like Joss Whedon as a writer more than you do.
Yeah.
Typically.
Fair enough.
Not that there haven't always been problems, and I always feel the need to bring this up, but I said I did a video when he was announced for Avengers saying I didn't think he was right for it.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
So yes, I like his abilities more than you do. I never really thought that he was the right director for that stuff, which is why I was surprised that the first Avengers movie turned out as well as it did.
Mm-hmm.
But like, even I've complained about Whedonism dialogue in that movie.
The Avengers one's going to be funny because I feel like I have like a million things to complain about, but at the end of the day, I'm going to be like, but I still like this movie well enough.
But it's a superhero.
But it's a legend.
You're not. There's no way you put that at legend. There's no way.
We'll see.
We sure will, and it's not gonna happen. It's funny, somebody just mentioned that they like this movie. My 32 is, and it's really funny that these lined up the way they did. It's the Joss Whedon cut of Justice League.
See, I told you it was the prototype for Justice League.
What are the odds of that?
That's really funny.
We talked about that, of course, a lot during the DCU Mania, and I'm curious to see where and if Justice League winds up on your list. I think it probably will, because I know you have kind of the reverse thing that I do, where the not that you like that cut, but that the Snyder cut irritates you, and like, yes, I've got like lots of problems with it, and it's way too long and all of that. But I find it a lot more watchable at this point than the
Yeah.
Whedon version. And I had just a rough watch with it, like even rougher when you and I did the blind commentary on it, and it's such a cobbled together mess, and it doesn't feel like I never believe anything that's happening in it.
That was the worst viewing I've ever had of that movie. Was doing the DCU mania.
It was hard to sit there.
Mm-hmm. I think that you can literally.
And
see
I'm not
the
trying
moment...
to pile on to Plush DX or whoever it was that said that they liked that. No, I'm sorry, Plush DX. I don't mean to throw you under the bus. If you don't like that movie, or RJ Godzilla. So I'm not trying to pile on. I'm just like it's like this is where it landed on my list. So I gotta explain why. And it's probably higher, Austin, than it would have been if we hadn't done that.
You can see the moment in that commentary where we run out of things to talk about.
Oh yeah.
There's like a specific point where it's like, I think we're both just kind of spent. Like, and we still have 40 minutes left.
Yeah, there's so nothing in it, and I will admit it is, and I don't know if you have this, but I think it's rougher looking at that after the Snyder Cut, because however you feel about the Snyder Cut, you can see all of the new scenes and reshoots where they're not liking the project they're in now, and I don't feel that in the Snyder Cut.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's fair.
It's awkward, and like the Snyder Cut is awkward in other ways, but in more for lack of a better word, charming ways, in my mind, if you can be charmingly awkward.
I mean, at least doesn't have Batman being like, oh, yeah, I need help getting up.
Oh God, yeah, it's all coming back to me now, and like the Superman resurrection is rough. What are we doing? And then the Steppenwolf of it all.
Oh, we love Steppenwolf. He was born to be wild.
Yeah.
Anyways. Yeah, it's really boring.
There are very few, and I now that I say this, I feel like it should maybe even be a little higher. There aren't a lot of movies that feel less cohesive to me than that. I mean, like, I don't know, structurally and plot wise and whatever. I guess you can say like it holds together and that I can tell what's happening. It's real cookie cutter kind of Saturday morning cartoon fare. But what I mean is, it's just a tonal mess, and you can tell that it used to be one thing, and somebody's trying to like force the puzzle pieces to make it into something else, but also
to turn it into Avengers.
Yeah, but it's not like that guy has a creative vision. It feels like this real kind of conceited thing. I'm sorry to say, because like I used to really like there's earlier Whedon stuff I really like, obviously. And that's a Whedon that's like too big for his britches, where it's like I came in at the 11th hour, I'm gonna save this thing, but he does it in this really half-hearted, I gotta try to like force it into my mold instead of having some respect for, and I don't even like this, Snyder's vision for that whole thing, but like I respect that all the initial creative vision and just try to make it a little bit more mainstream, where it's almost like he's making fun of it, and like I don't think that's fair, no matter how I feel about that project. There's an almost kind of mean-spirited nature to his approach, which is only confirmed by the way some of the actors felt he treated them on set, I guess. It's just I can see more of that in it after seeing Snyder's version.
No, it's very fair.
But yeah.
What number are we at? 32? Or no, yeah. That's where we're at, right?
I'm sorry, I was reading a comment.
RJ
Godzilla is saying that he likes that movie for actually the reason that I'm saying, or one of the big reasons I'm saying I don't. where he kind of likes that it's making fun of Snyder's vision. And I don't know. I think there's a classier way to go about that.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree. Well, and I have that even in Age of Ultron, where like I feel like there's choices he makes in Age of Ultron that are making fun of Man of Steel, but at least it's not in his own material, you know, where you're hobbling it together in that person's work as opposed to making something on your own.
Yeah, like if you think about it, you know, you're kind of turning it into a parody, and the audience is not going to necessarily realize it because they've not seen anything like the final product yet that it was originally supposed to be. But I think if you're at all in the know, you can see some of it even on a first viewing, which makes the couple of things he does that Snyder didn't do but feel like Snyder choices even more bizarre to me. Like that opening song that always felt like more of a Snyder thing. But Snyder didn't do that, and it's not in his version. And anyway. But if you think about it, it ends up almost being like Sentai to Power Rangers or something, where it's like he's not doing an earnest thing with it. I mean, I guess Power Rangers more so, but it's like you're taking something that was relatively, in some cases with Power Rangers anyway, for what it is, a little bit more serious, and then you're adding this like sitcom element on top of it, and like that works fine for Power. It does not work for what he's doing.
I'm surprised we didn't add a Bulk and Skull. I guess Bulk and Skull are just the family.
Aquaman is Bulk and Skull.
It's true.
Aquaman shows he shows up on screen. Da 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 da.
He's talking to himself because he's two characters.
He's talking to his chainmail.
Yeah.
What is your 32?
My 32 is Fantastic Four: First Steps.
Wow. So I thought it might show up, but that is crazy high to me. Anyway, you're maybe the only person on the planet that would put this that high on a top 50, or maybe on a bottom 50, or maybe even on a bottom 50 at all.
Probably, yeah, on a bottom 50 at all. I don't know. I had a very visceral reaction in the theater watching that movie. I did not like it at all. And I seem to be very much on an island.
Yeah, no, you totally are. Now, I don't want to come off disingenuous when I say this.
Yeah. So, well, I think it's going to be the thing you said to me when I walked out of the theater. But go ahead.
Oh, did I say that? So
I think so.
So fight me on this. But you walked into that expecting to hate it.
So
all I heard from you for weeks before that came out was how awful that movie was going to be, and with respect, I didn't feel like you gave it a chance.
No, so I was fully willing to give it a chance, and most of the stuff I walked out saying, "Oh, I really didn't like this," wasn't the stuff I was worried about, because it was more so just, "Oh, I'm worried about this. I don't know about this choice. Like, I don't think that's I don't know about that." I could not have predicted that movie feels like it's 80% montage. One of the biggest things I was worried about was Silver Surfer, and Silver Surfer is in like 3 scenes in that movie. Like, there were so many things that I could not have predicted. So it's no, I reject your hypothesis.
Okay. Well, I don't know. It's just I went into that entertained by it, but also let down at the same time, and went. I don't know why or what exactly it's going to be, but Austin's going to come out of this hating it. So I guess just the fact that I could predict your reaction, even though you're saying that your reaction was for different reasons than you expected it to be, made it feel like you just went in hating that before it came out, and you came out hating it just like you did before you went in. That's what it felt like.
So I went into that movie.
I'm freely admitting that's not fair. Like, I'm freely admitting that.
No, because I'll accept it. I went into that movie, I would say, in the same, like, I don't know about this place I was with No Time to Die, the same place I was with that last Transformers film, both 1 and Rise of the Beasts. And those are all cases where I walked out like, oh no, I like this movie quite a bit.
Yeah, fair enough. No Time to Die is really quite good.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't like it, but I don't know, I like that movie.
And I only saw it once in the theater, but I walked out real happy with that. It's too damn long, but...
Yeah. No, I had a miserable time.
Like, I have no time to watch No Time to Die. That's my biggest issue with it.
Yeah, no, and I had major effects issues in Fantastic Four.
Me too.
Like, just throughout.
But dude, the CG baby nonsense is unacceptable. We gotta quit doing it. We've gotta stop that. That is embarrassing. I was liking that movie okay, and I wanted to walk out during that scene just for sheer embarrassment. Look, I was like, how is this the Flash right now?
Yeah, I think I said this when we talked about the MCU ranking, which is just... I think that movie relies way too hard on you have to know who the FF is.
I agree.
Like, they go, here's Johnny Storm, and Johnny Storm's walking around and he's like, haha, I like women, I'm Johnny Storm. And then, like, 2 scenes later, he's like, wow, I did this thing where I'm, like, finding this new language based on 2 words that the Silver Surfer said. That's so not like me, Johnny Storm. And it's like, I don't know who you are. Like, I know who Johnny Storm is. You've done not a good job introducing me to this character. Like, none of that stuff is properly set up in that movie. That movie to me feels
true.
like that movie for me felt like a trailer for why I should be happy that Disney can make Fantastic Four products.
The thing is, I'm agreeing with everything you're saying. I don't see how it's 32 on a worst of list.
Because it really frustrated me. And here's the thing, if it had come out 10 years later where I was just in a happier place with Marvel, maybe it wouldn't be this high.
Do you mean 10 years
but
earlier?
Right now, sorry, 10 years earlier. Yeah. Sorry, you're right. The way this hit, it hit me really hard. And like in a place where I'm already kind of not happy with Marvel. And I liked Superman, so you had that where it's like you had this reboot that I liked. And I know, not everybody likes Superman, that's fine. But I don't even see them as comparable. Like, one of these movies actually felt like a movie to me. Had a story that it carried through it, and it had scenes that happened one after another. It wasn't just 80% montage where we're just going, okay, boom, 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 boom. Go, get to the end. Anyways.
Yeah, I think this is one of those cases where I agree with most of your criticisms, but not the intensity.
Not how strongly.
Yeah.
No, and that's fair. But also, like, I was so excited.
Like, these were all the reasons I was disappointed, but I didn't find it offensive in the way you are, and maybe my standards are so... Part of the problem, I think, is I've got really low standards for Marvel at this point. But
also, I'm one of the only people that feels this hard about it.
No, I know.
Like,
that's true.
So, you don't have to defend your position on it and be like, well, my standards are lower. Like, if anything, I feel like I have to defend it more because I had such a strong reaction where most people aren't.
That's fair, but the reason I'm feeling the need to defend it is I'm agreeing with everything you're saying. Mm-hmm. Or with almost everything you're saying. And so then I feel like just for the audience, I have to then explain why I'm not in the same place you are, because I might look real contradictory when I'm saying, no, it's a lot better than that, but then I keep nodding and agreeing with a lot of what you're saying. That's why I feel the need to defend my position, because to the audience, I probably look really hypocritical right now.
No, I mean, it's all good.
I know
the worst thing about you, Cap, is that you're a hypocrite.
that is the worst part of me. One of the things you alluded to this. One thing I was really surprised by with it, was that the female Silver Surfer thing didn't piss me off the way I expected it to. I still don't like that they did it. That's still not what I don't think they should have handled the way they handled it. but I thought it was like effective enough in the movie they made, and I thought it gave Johnny Storm like more of a thing to do. Like,
When for me, it's like it's the least of its issues with Silver Surfer. Like she's not in it enough. Like
well, that's true too.
She's like I said in 3 scenes. One of them is a giant action scene, so it's like
Well, you notice
we have.
you notice I didn't take up for it in saying like she had a lot more presence and the acting was better than I
No.
expected or anything like that. It just
No, and I like that actress.
I didn't have
like,
the feeling that are you like it didn't bother me the way it does on paper.
Yeah. No, I was worried about Silver Surfer going into the movie, just because I was like, I like in a movie that feels like it wants to be so classic Fantastic Four. I don't know why they did that. Like, I'm just not sure about it.
Yeah.
And then walking out, I was like, I feel like everybody who goes, "Oh, the Silver Surfer's the worst part of this movie," like this movie sucks. It's awful. They made the Silver Surfer a woman. I'm like, I don't believe you watched the movie now because she's barely in it. Like,
Yeah.
she's barely a factor. Like, that's a worse issue.
No, I don't know if this is a fair thing to say, but I see it as almost objective that she's not the worst part.
Mhm. No, 100%.
But
And I was
you
so
can-
excited.
But you
for,
can dislike that on a conceptual level as the worst thing they decided to do. That is fair.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like I said, I'm not saying that you can't have that opinion. I'm just saying
Yeah.
when people say they hate the movie and she's
don't
the
buy
worst
they
part,
saw
I
it.
just I have that hesitation where I'm like, if you really hated this movie and you think she's the worst part, I don't know if I believe you. But no, and I was so excited for Ralph Ineson as Galactus. I was so excited for Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm. I thought both were great castings. I was indifferent to Sue Storm in the movie. I thought she was fine.
And that's our
but,
one
I didn't
big
really love her
disagreement.
material.
Is I thought she
Yeah.
was spectacular, and I thought she was
Yeah.
like one of the best castings ever in a superhero thing. And I wish the whole movie had been just about her, because 2 of the 4
It kind of is.
it kind of is. But I'm just saying, like, you wouldn't make this, and I wouldn't want this, but like, given what we had, and that it was such a clip show, because it was. I mean, you're not wrong about that. Like, just a Sue Storm solo movie where she's the only thing on screen would have at least forced you to have more of a conventional story.
Mhm. Yeah, and then like the bigger one for me was Innocent as Galactus, and especially when they made a big deal of we put him in a suit and we shot him, against miniatures,
It
and
hurts my
you
feelings.
can't tell.
It doesn't matter.
You can't tell, and I don't think he has any presence, which is
he doesn't.
crazy for Ralph Ineson.
No, he does, but he's. That's the thing is, if he gave a performance, they didn't put it on the screen. They didn't let you see it.
Yeah, like I feel like I can't see it. Like even
He's laughing all the way to the bank because they paid him to not be there.
yeah.
Essentially.
No, it was so disappointing, and like that's a case, and you can attest to this, where from the get-go I was always very excited about both of those casting choices.
Yeah.
And even when I was like, I'm not sure about this movie, those are great casting choices. I think they're going to be great. And
Well,
then the only FF member I really liked was the Thing, and that was just because he seemed kind of cool, even though he has no
He has
pathos.
nothing to
We've
do.
completely removed that from him.
And he has nothing to do.
He's got nothing to do. He's got a beard. That's his character arc, because he grew a beard.
That contrived plotting in the third act, where we need Galactus to come down to Earth to go get his hands on the baby just so that he can be transported. I can't get my head around that. Like, there's no reason whatsoever he had to physically come down and do that. Like,
Well, wasn't that something I first said to you, where I was like, why does that happen? Like, he has a teleporter that he uses in the movie?
well, it was bothering me in the theater. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Okay, for some reason I thought it was something that I said, and you were like, oh, that's right. But, okay. I wasn't sure.
I don't remember, but I remember being in the theater going, I don't understand why this is happening right now.
Hmm. Who knows? So the action can happen.
Yeah, well, and I've only seen it the one time, so there's bits of it that are fuzzy in my brain right now. But yeah, the fact that he has a teleporter, I don't even think that. I think maybe the reason you're saying that is, I think my issue with it wasn't even that. It was like it was something about just why he even went down when he went down. I can't remember now. There was even more to it than
Yeah.
that, though.
Oh, okay, yeah. And I hate Mole Man, but I've been complaining about this for so long.
Yeah.
So
I am surprised
sorry about
it's
that
as high
again.
as it is on your list. But
I was very frustrated.
I didn't predict it would be there.
You did. That's why I was like, we're getting to it in like 2 movies. Yeah, 2 numbers.
So we'll each do one more before we finish up tonight and get to in even 10 again. My 31 is another movie that is probably higher than it would have been if you and I didn't do a commentary on it recently. And that is...
It's Iron Man 1.
No, it's Suicide Squad.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's just going to be a lot of messes from here on out. I mean, messes in different ways, certainly, but that's a bona fide mess. I mean, that's... It's funny because that maybe has, in to a lesser degree, some of those Joss Whedon Justice League issues that I was suggesting, in that it's just such a compromised thing from what it originally was. And I'm not in the camp that thinks that there's a great David Ayer cut or anything. I'm just saying that it's a... like that's probably a more coherent... like whatever Ayer thought he was making, that is probably a more coherent, but just not inspired kind of cookie cutter action movie. What we got was kind of like you were talking about with Fantastic Four, a trailer edited movie, like literally edited by trailer people.
I'm gonna be honest. This movie, right at the top, DCU Mania kind of brought it down for me a little bit. Part of that, and this isn't even entirely fair. This isn't even entirely fair. I had such a good time in that Mania. That was such a fun one for us. That it gave me not an appreciation
for
but just like for the first Suicide Squad.
Oh yeah.
It gave me such like a... I had such a good time the last time I watched this. Like, there's movies I now hate more than it. So like, it brought it a little higher on my list than it would have been if not for DCEU Mania. So I have the reverse.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I was remembering it differently, where we both were not enjoying it, but I guess I'm remembering that wrong. I didn't realize you were having the "it's silly enough I'm enjoying it" thing.
Not even so much that. Like, I just had a good time bashing that movie with you guys. Yeah. But because of that...
You're right. That was more fun than the Joss Whedon Justice League.
Yeah, so you have something like that. So now when I think about it, I'm like, oh, I had this great time with, like, you know, with friends.
That's
making fun of how bad this movie is. If I watch it again on my own, shoots back up to the top of the list. But because that's the last memory I have with it, it's brought it down a little bit, because I'm like, oh, like, that was really fun.
So I didn't know what you meant by brought it down. I thought you meant like brought it down, like it's worse than some tire on your... Down and up
I see
is
what you're saying.
Complicated with this exercise. Yeah.
I get what you're saying. No, because I've always said that Suicide Squad's one of the worst superhero movies ever made. I mean, it still is, but it's a little bit higher on my list, or lower on my list, so not as bad as some other ones, just because of DCU Mania.
It's just a thing that I don't want to sit through. And when it first came out, I liked it quite a bit more than I am now, and I was still baffled by it, and I was still complaining about the constant, like, false starts, where it's got to keep introducing characters and then introducing characters again, and, like, the needle drops, and the baffling editing where something will happen and then there's no explanation. Like, I'll never stop complaining about the plane was shot down by what? No one can explain that to me. No one can explain that to me any more than they can explain why those idiots in 2014 Ninja Turtles didn't just take Splinter's blood. Like, neither of these things have ever been explained to me. And
no,
stuff
the
like
funniest
that.
thing is that we've now seen the better version of that movie, which is Thunderbolts, and David Harbour is in both.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Now that he gets like a ton to do in Suicide Squad.
Yeah, I guess I
that is
forgot
kind of
about that.
amusing. Yeah.
Deaniverse says Suicide Squad is terrible, but it's definitely a fascinating kind of terrible. Yeah, and that's what I had with it the first time I saw it. And for some reason, BVS continues to be more interesting to me, which is why it was so much lower, but still on my top 50. And Suicide Squad has gotten less so, only because BVS was actually conceptualized as the bizarre mess that it is. And Suicide Squad, whatever that movie originally was then compromised and ragged by a different team of editors. And even when you get its extended cut that is maybe technically a little bit better, it's still kind of somebody else's cut.
No,
You know
I
what
mean, it's a sucker for pain.
And I guess the reason I'm not finding it as fascinating as you say, like, there's baffling choices at the conceptual level, absolutely. But once again, it becomes that making it in a boardroom thing, but retroactively, where it's like BVS has come out and they're like, Warner's is panicking now. And so they're going, how can we make this movie look like more bright and fun and cheerful or whatever? And that's why it ends up turning out the way it does. But like I said, when it came out, I thought it was technically the best of the three that we had so far. Like, I don't have that now, but...
No, for sure. It's a baffling movie. But like you said, it's also super compromised.
Yeah.
So it's also like laughing at a kid who had his leg shot off.
And I guess there's kind of a, obviously arbitrary exercise where I could make lots of arguments for why there's more good stuff in this than some of the other things that I brought up so far. But then there's like the disappointment level of, you finally get, and I know you don't care about this, but like, you finally get Harley Quinn in a movie, and this is what we do with it, and this Joker is nonsense and stuff like that, where it's like, I've got stronger feelings about it. Like, yeah, the 2014 Ninja Turtle movies are bad, but I've had one really brilliant Ninja Turtles movie.
Yeah, when doing Enchantress,
now of course the Suicide Squad is really good, so you can say retroactively we've had that now. And I'm not even a Suicide Squad fan, so I don't really care so much about that aspect of it. But it's just some of the things in it that are things I like. I don't know.
No, and doing Enchantress first is really weird because like that's a story that like kind of goes through the first maybe like 20 issues of Ostrander's run.
Yeah, I always forget about that until you bring it up.
So it's like,
because I've never read that.
It's probably not as big as that, but like it would be like doing X-Men 1 and it's Dark Phoenix at the same time. Like, it is kind of weird that you would do that. I mean, it would be easier to do than an X-Men 1 that's Dark Phoenix, don't get me wrong. But like, at the same time, I'm like, I don't know why they made that choice. It's kind of weird. And then they don't really understand the premise of Suicide Squad. And then, all these things kind of compound on top of each other. And it's really weird because there's so many scenes in that movie where I'm like, oh, this comes from that issue, this comes from that issue. But they're just all done really poorly.
Well, and as a fan of that material, which I'm not really, that probably makes it frustrating in a different sort of way for you, Austin, because it's easy to dismiss a thing where they just take a premise but they don't care about the source material.
Yeah, no, exactly.
That movie's got enough reverence for it that it has a tower with Ostrander's name on it, and it doesn't seem to get the premise. Like,
No, in that scene where Amanda Waller's eating steak, being like, "These are the Suicide Squad members," and we like montage through them, is just the secret origin issue of Suicide Squad, like just straight up, just that, and just all these things, like how we first see the bomb, where Captain Boomerang's like, "Hey, you should totally run off. That'd be great," and then Slipknot's head explodes. Is exactly how we first introduced the bomb in Ostrander, but except it's on the arm in that. But yeah, there's so many things like that.
I think I also got really sick of the iconography for that movie. It was really strange. Where like it was a failure on one level, but then I aesthetically like really got into the zeitgeist on another level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and that was
a lot of just like regular people really liked it. I saw a lot of that.
Stussy asks if it's better than the G.I. Joe movies.
No.
I've never seen them. I can't speak to
that. Even if you don't like the G.I. Joe movies, they are at least complete.
They're movies.
Yeah.
Austin, what is your 31?
My 31 is a double feature, baby.
Oh boy, here we go.
What's something that we did recently, and I'd never seen one of them before, so I don't know if you can guess it off of that.
Is it live action?
It is live action.
It's something that we did recently. Did we do both of them?
Yep.
But you hadn't seen one, but you had seen the other.
Mm-hmm. And it's a duology. Like, it is both films.
It's a duology, so and there's not any more after it.
Yep.
And it's not anything I've said yet?
I don't think you have.
Weird.
I don't remember what you said last time, so maybe you had.
I'm gonna kick myself, but I'm gonna blame it on it's 1 a.m. Go ahead.
It's Aquaman and Aquaman 2, whatever it's called.
Okay, so let me say you cheated a little bit.
Oh.
Because, well, you said we did it, and that made me think it was on the commentary project, but those were blank commentaries. So my head was not at all in a mania when you said that.
That's why I tried to say, like, we did both recently, because then I was like, it separates it out, but fair enough.
Well, that's why I got confused, because I was like, what have we done in rapid succession on the commentary project? Anyway, so yeah, no, you win on that. Well done. Yeah, it's fair to put those together. If you don't like that first movie, I like it well enough that it would be in that mid-between thing where like it wouldn't wind up on either list for me.
Yeah, I don't think you've said 2.
I have not. I in fact don't think it made my list.
I was gonna say at this point I don't think it's making your list if you haven't said it.
Some of that's probably just I can't put the entire DCEU on the list. Not that all of it would go there, but you know, because I mean I like Wonder Woman well enough, but you know what I mean, like.
Yeah, that's fair. I didn't have the same thoughts, but
no, I know.
I mean, I didn't have the full DCEU on my list, to be fair. But yeah, I mean, Aquaman to me is
bad. It's just not bad in a way that like makes me think about it. I don't know. It's just it's weirder that it's the last one.
Well, and that's like one of the only things I like about it is that I like that the DCU ends with "or I'm eating a bug," because I think that's like a perfect encapsulation of the world.
Yeah, you've always said
that. Yeah, it died the way it lived.
How does it wind up this high on your list, though?
I just find those movies both really annoying. Like, to me, they are DC's Ragnarok. Where, like, it's just that same kind of feeling where I'm like, I don't like their take on Aquaman. I don't like the humor in them. Like, they just don't really have much going for me, and I don't really like James Wan either. I love Patrick Wilson. I don't think he's great in those. I think he's kind of miscast, or maybe not miscast, but I feel like they're telling him to give a performance that I don't think works.
Ghost Bumbles, I thought The Flash was the last movie in the DCEU. Well, you'd think that, wouldn't you? It should have been, but it wasn't. They had at least 2 movies after that. You had Blue Beetle and Aquaman 2
Blue
after
Beetle
that.
After?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I thought Blue Beetle was before. Okay.
I mean, I'll double check the dates, but I almost said I'd bet you $100, but I'm not gonna say that.
Do it.
I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, because I thought Blue Beetle was the summer and Flash was like September, November. But I could be entirely wrong. But no,
no,
they wanted to keep the Christmas.
Flash was June 16, and Blue Beetle was August 18. And then,
you should have bet me $100.
I should have. And then Aquaman 2 was in December.
It was December, yeah. Which I get wanting to keep because the first movie was in December and it made $1 billion.
Yeah.
So I think they were hoping to recapture that and then didn't.
Ghost Bumbles also, and by the way, that's a name I don't recognize. Welcome, thanks for hanging out with us. I like the Blue Beetle movie. I might be the only one. You're not, and one of the biggest surprises for me when we did the blank commentaries with DCEU Mania is I turned around on it.
Well, it was funny because I like that movie. I think it's
I don't think
good.
it's great or anything.
And I couldn't be there for that Mania.
That was the one you weren't there for. No, I brought Brandon in, who hadn't seen it and saw almost none of those movies, and both of us just kept looking at each other. We were like, this is okay. I don't know. I'm enjoying this.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's all right.
The suit looks cool. Like, some of the effects with it are fun and creative.
Like,
the action's pretty well done.
It is relentlessly just fine if you're comparing it to, some of the cream of the crop of superhero movies. But when you're comparing it to the rest of the DCEU, it almost feels like it should have been the start of them. I've never had that thought before. That wouldn't have been a bad starting place.
And it's a movie that was supposed to go straight to streaming and was like made for that, and it's pretty cinematic despite that.
Yeah. That was the other really surprising thing is that, and even seeing it in the theater, when I didn't care for it so much the first time around, that was the big thing that stood out for me. I was like, this looks better than most of these.
That's another movie I was like, I don't know, I'm really worried. I don't like the Mania, but I like Blue Beetle, so I'll check this out. And then I was like, this movie's pretty good. So
it's crazy.
Yeah, I reject your Fantastic Four hypothesis. But no, Aquaman. Yeah, like I said, Aquaman to me is just kind of DC's Ragnarok. Like, it's that same kind of thing.
See, the only reason I don't agree with you with that is that DC already felt too much like it was in a Ragnarok place. So, like, it jumped the shark from the beginning for me, so, or at least real early. So, because I don't want to go back around on history, but like Man of Steel I initially really liked, and then it's fallen apart as I've seen it. So, it didn't jump the shark at the very start, initially for me. BVS did.
Well, I just mean literally like it's like a parody where it's like Aquaman walking around being like, yo, dude, bro, this is so cool. I'm gonna pee on things, bro. I'm like,
still feels
what are we doing?
More scripted and like it has more of a direction and a plan than Ragnarok, but that's not saying a lot. And I'll admit, when we get to the stuff you're talking about, that drove me a lot crazier going back to it on the Mania, and I think I excised that part of the movie when I think about that. Because the stuff I like is all underwater.
Also, the theme song to the first movie is a Pitbull remix of Africa by Toto.
It's not the theme song. It shows up in a scene. How's it the theme song?
It was the big song they made for that movie.
The big
so
song.
Bad.
It shows up for 30 seconds in one scene. Wasn't in the trailers.
That's 30 seconds too much.
No, it is, but that's really misleading. The way you're saying that. It's not the theme song. Now, yes, in the theater that jumps out at you, you're like, what the hell? And it's ridiculous. Yes, that's right. It's not the theme song in any possible usage of that word. No.
It's the theme song to me. But it was so bad. They made it for that movie, so to me, it's the theme song. It was put together for it. And then 2 is the Dark World, where it's like now Aquaman has to team up with his brother,
That's
who's
true.
the bad guy. And he's got to fight Black Manta, whose suit looks awesome, but he's terrible.
All that
And
all that stuff with Aquaman's a dad now. Stop it.
the best scene, I guess I probably mentioned.
Although I
this,
don't think there's a CG baby at any point, so I'll give it that.
No, and they have a baby. But the best scene in Aquaman 2, and it is the big thing out of both of them that will always stay with me, is the big scene right before the climax where you have like every major character is on this little island thing, like this little rock, and they're all talking about like, okay, this is what's happening, like blah blah blah. We got to explain it again. This is what we're gonna do, whatever. And in all the wide shots, you can see everybody there. And then whenever we cut to Aquaman, it's so clear that it was a shot of both him and Amber Heard, and we
Right.
cropped it to crop her out, and you can just see her arm, and very amusing.
But see, all that stuff is funny. Like that's not a reason
That's
to
what I'm
put
saying.
it on
That's what I'm saying. Like that is like the one thing that I will take away as being something I like from out of both movies. I love that bit.
No,
Also-
you're burying the lead with Aquaman 2, though. You're burying the most fun thing about that movie, which is Dolph Lundgren getting all of her dialogue. That's the best thing.
That is funny. I think just having her arm in shot is funnier, but I mean, that is
Watching
funny
him
too.
try to get his words around his mouth around exposition is hilarious. Is wonderful.
Also, James Wan, I've always called him the J.J. Abrams of horror because he just repackages things that are good and makes them mediocre. But one of his things is that he's constantly trying to redo The Shining, and he somehow found a way to sneak that into Aquaman 2.
Oh, really?
In the climax. Yeah, in the climax where we do like a storm, and he's like, "Oh, I'm coming to get you, Amber Heard," and we start to do like The Shining for a second.
That's true. I never
And
thought
I'm
about
like, God damn it, James Wan. Get out of here.
And am I remembering this right? That was, of course, the last movie in DCEU Mania, and I don't think you had seen it yet.
Nope. No, it was the first time I'd ever seen it.
Have you gone back to it?
No, I never will.
So you're putting those two movies together this high on your list, and the only time you've seen the sequel was talking over it.
Yeah, but I feel very strongly about the first one, and the second one was basically the same.
Yeah, no, I'm not even giving you crap for doing that. I just think it's funny that, like, even talking over it is so rough. You've never looked at it again. Not that we
Shazam 2
it's only
also
been a few
made my
months,
list
but-
and has the same thing.
That's true. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
These are also not complicated movies that are difficult to get the gist of
No.
if you're talking
And
over
if
them.
anything, that should help me get through them, but it didn't.
Yes. No, yeah. If you're watching that in a dark room, either of those, in a dark room by yourself,
Yeah.
without, like some way to make the experience more fun and move further along, like talking over it with friends, you're gonna hate it even more.
Yeah, I mean, it helped me like Suicide Squad a little bit more.
That's true.
Not that I like that movie more, but at least I had a good time watching it.
Is BVS better with people?
Yes.
Man of Steel
Yeah, I'm gonna say
wasn't
yeah.
for you.
No, that's because Man of Steel's boring, and
Yeah.
it's like a 30-minute long plot stretched out to 2 hours.
I mean, I'm saying
BVS
yeah, because I know you find that boring. I don't have exactly the same thing with that you do, but yeah.
No, because BVS, like, you're all reacting and like having a good time and laughing at the crazy stuff, and I don't know.
Why are we doing the shot with the Jolly Rancher? And
Yeah, like you're having a good time through that stuff. It's a way better movie to watch with people.
Well, we got through another 10. It took us an hour
Yeah.
longer this time, but that was my fault more than anything.
Well, it also didn't help that we talked about the life of Chuck for like half an hour.
No, we didn't talk about that long. I found ways to make things take longer. Like, you were trying not to talk about First Steps too much, but I kept kind of
I
prodding
talked
you to
about
give
First
us a
Steps
little
for a
more.
long time.
Yeah, that's
to
my
be
fault.
fair. No, it's fine. People are gonna be pissed, but it's fine.
You had at least one person in the comments that felt the same way you did about it.
You know, I've seen a couple people that are like, I also really didn't like First Steps. But one, I think I said this when we did the MCU ranking. I think why you get, not that like it matters, but like I think the reason why you get something like the Rotten Tomatoes for both that and Superman is that I think Superman had people who were very like, I really like this or I really didn't, and then FFU had a lot of people that were just like, it's fine. Like I don't think it had the same strong reactions.
No,
I
certainly
mean, not to say that nobody loves that movie, but you know what I mean, like just like a broader general scale.
Well, we've speculated quite a bit about all the reasons that might be, where like Fantastic Four is just not a big property for a lot of people in the first place.
Yeah, no, for sure.
You've already had some, failures and missteps with that, so the standards are so in the floor with that then First Steps comes out, and even if people don't love it, it probably looks better to them than by quite a bit than anything that's come before it.
Mm-hmm. No, it's true. It's the best FF film that's been released.
And you still have it at like 33 or whatever it was on your worst of list.
No, the only one that I would like actually put on and not, bitch about it would be the Corman one. That's the only one I could sit through and enjoy, and it's not even finished.
Which is kind of ironic given how notorious that is, and and yeah, like I like First Steps a lot more than you do, but I also don't have the vitriol against the Corman movie that people used to. I'm sure there's been some swinging back around, or like it's corny and funny or whatever. But you're right, like it's an unfinished thing, and it gets the material better.
I can tell they like
does.
FF.
Yeah. Some of the casting is okay.
Their Doctor Doom's fun. He would have been ADR'd if it was finished.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Not that everything that's fun to make fun of with that movie is because it's unfinished. Like, some of it would still have been kind of ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's still a cheap movie at the end of the day. Like, it's a Roger Corman movie.
But, if you put that up again... Let's imagine it's finished. Let's just look at the script, right? Like, we know what the words are. Not all of Dr. Doom's, but we know what most of the words are. If you just take... that movie on paper, what they chose to do with it, how that compares to comics, and then you look at most of the other cheap Marvel movies before we were making blockbuster Marvel movies, it's the most like the comics. It is like you put that against the 1990 Captain America, a movie that I will say is in my runner up. It almost made my list.
Oh, okay, fair enough. That one it maybe would have if I'd seen it more recently. Like it's been too long. It didn't really stick with me.
Yeah, the big thing for me with that, just real quick, is the fact that nobody knows about him and can really be inspired by him. Mm-hmm. So, like, he goes on one mission and then gets shot in a rocket.
That kid sees the rocket.
And then you get a kid that just sees a rocket and becomes this giant Captain America fan, and then that's why he becomes the president. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
The plastic ears don't help. I mean, they're stuff.
I'm so excited for when we have to do the Red Brown Captain America movies. I keep putting them on the list for voting, but nobody cares, so nobody will vote for them.
Well, maybe at some point we can just pick them outright.
I mean, the first one won't be fun to do. It'll be really boring. But I'm excited to do the second one.
Well, and I'm curious to finally see the director's cut of that of the 1990 movie. I can't remember if that was like actually finally released or there was talk that it was found.
Yeah, I think it was like shown off to a couple people, but it didn't.
So it's got that.
It is never released.
So it's got that Schumacher cut thing right now, where it's like people have seen it, but we're not getting it on disc yet.
That's my understanding. Yeah.
Boy, I hope that happens. Usually, except for Zaslav things, usually these things eventually see the light of day. I think we'll get that stuff. This is not a Batgirl, which I still think there's a chance that someday we'll actually see that, but.
And you never know.
I don't care that they say it's been destroyed. We live in a digital world. Nothing's ever completely gone.
Well, I was gonna say, and the other thing is, I don't think they finished shooting it. I think it's like 80% finished.
What, Batgirl?
But we could maybe, yeah.
Oh,
I don't think that's a finished movie.
Okay.
But I mean, you could still maybe put together what you have. But I was gonna say too, the best thing in any Fantastic Four movie is still the ending of the Corman one, when Doctor Doom's hanging on the castle and he's like, help me back up, Reed. And Reed's like, okay, I got you, Doom. And he reaches his hand and he grabs Doom's hand. And Doom's like, ha, you actually tried to help me, loser. And drops to his death.
I forgot about that.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Well, and they have a sort of comic accurate Mole Man in that movie.
And it's funny because he's not Mole Man.
Oh, was he not?
But he might as well be. Like, he basically
name?
is Mole Man. I don't remember. It's like Travis.
Boy,
but it's not Mole Man.
Yeah, I thought he was just the Mole Man. It's been too long, and I've reviewed that. I've done a commentary on it, but it's been, I guess, I've done 2 commentaries on that if you count Marvel Mania.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but I don't know it super well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought I heard something about that, but I wasn't sure if I was right about it. Ghost Bumble says, I think he's talking about 1990 Captain America. It has been released, and it's available on Blu-ray. So I gotta get my hands on that at some point and see just how different it is.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and I've heard people say that it's a lot better. But
I heard something about that, and I was second guessing myself because I couldn't remember if it was for sure released.
Yeah.
But I knew it was found.
Yeah, I guess I don't know why I thought it was just like a Schumacher cut thing.
I'll check in that and see if just make sure he's right about that, but hopefully so. Okay, great.
He probably is. I don't know a ton about that.
Okay, great. Says now that Netflix owns WB, maybe talking about the Batgirl thing. Well, I mean, it could be because wasn't part of the reason we got the Snyder cut because the Discovery merger.
Yeah.
So I guess that could happen. I don't know that they'd be in a hurry on that, and also. It's allegedly destroyed. I'm just saying that somebody probably has at least footage of it somewhere. You can't tell me that somebody that worked on that movie didn't find a way to sneak some of that off the lot.
You can't tell me it didn't happen. I saw it happen.
I'm not saying this is wishful thinking. Like, there's no reason to think that was a good movie. I'm just saying, realistically, what we know, and this goes without saying, that people that worked on that movie were really upset about what happened with it.
Yeah, exactly. Except for Michael Keaton.
Ghost Bumbles, yeah, they found it, then went through the process of remastering it with one of the producers or something. Yeah, now that you say that, I read that for the movie and released it on Blu-ray. Well, I guess I better put that on my list.
Yeah.
It's another cut. It's got to go back here.
Yeah, there you go. We're going to have to do a rewind on that, on both cuts.
I hope the Netflix thing, like, the first thing they do is they're like, yeah, we own Warner Brothers now. We better release the Schumacher cut. We gotta spend money on that.
They put out the Schumacher cut and the Ayer cut. And just a cut of Batgirl.
It'd be pretty funny if all of a sudden they go back to all this Snyderverse stuff, but like they have fired him and they're never gonna do anything with him like new moving forward again.
Yeah, it would be. They should just go back and restore the Schumacher verse.
The Schumacher verse? There's a Schumacher verse now.
There is, yeah.
Just because
what
he
does
said
Robin say?
this is why Superman works alone? Is that the only reason you're saying that?
Yes, there's a whole verse there.
There's a verse.
We're gonna get to see the Schumacher Superman finally realized.
Look, you don't know that Superman isn't a fictional character in that world, and it's the only superhero, like fictional superhero anyone's ever heard of, and that's not the reason he said it. You don't know that.
Yes, I do, because we're gonna see it in the prequel film that expands on it. And specifically, Superman's gonna be like, Robin, this is why I work alone.
Also, I never could have imagined hearing someone use the coin the word Schumacher verse. It's fantastic.
Yeah, we love to see it.
All right, we're going to go ahead and wrap up. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll get back to the list here as soon as we're able. If I get ahead on Simpsons, we'll try to do one of these next week. I cannot promise that. It is possible that pretty much the only thing that'll happen next week besides Captain Logan Show is the Simpsons stream, because I've got to prioritize getting all those episodes watched. But I'm going to do what I can this weekend. I've got a pretty full plate, even aside from that, with family stuff. But I appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. And then we'll have another week after that, just before Christmas, where we'll do at least Sherlock Holmes. And we'll see if we can get some more of this done. So we'll just kind of fly by the seat of our pants here and get as much out before the end of the year as we can.
Yeah, it's going to be elementary.
But we appreciate you guys. Thanks a lot for watching, and we will see you again real soon. I was Captain Logan, and this was Austin the Day Goes.
See ya, everybody.
Good night, folks.